dog were wounded last night during a helicopter raid targeting a member of ISIS in Syria. U.S. Central Command says the targeted ISIS member, Hamza al-Hamzi, was killed. The officials say the 4 U.S. service members and dog are being treated at a U.S. medical facility in Iraq. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Below average temperatures are back for our Friday afternoon. 38 for the high today. Lots of sunshine out there, though, and the winds aren't too bad. Clear and cold tonight, 25. On to the 3-day weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, windy and chilly, 54 the high. That wind will make it nippy to be out and about. Sunday, sunny and 58. Monday, President's Day, partly sunny, 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Did erectile dysfunction ruin your Valentine's Day? It's time to find the solution you need. This is a simple and painless process with no pills and no side effects. Today, Wednesday, February 15th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and blood flow analysis totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today, Wednesday, 314-530-7777.
Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed. Plus, get a chance to double your refund or win other weekly prizes with our Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return ends 4/2/23.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love
of the ladies. I mean, they read my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Hey guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. So, something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
Well, the whole crew is here today. I'm Ryan Wiggins. Hannah Gibbs is running the board. Brad Range is sitting in my normal seat. That is J.D. Vance from Ohio introducing the show today. That is, of course, him talking about East Palestine, Ohio, which I'm having trouble remembering is not East Palestine because
it's like Lebanon, Illinois.
Yes.
You can tell if somebody is from not from the area because they refer to it as Lebanon.
Yes, exactly. Or Kiev and Kiev, or Gravoy. Many other
Cairo and Cairo.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, with Southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Des Perez and DePere.
Des Perez. I haven't heard that one in a while. So we do have the whole crew, sans Annie, here today, and we have a very, very big show, a lot to do. And in fact, I want to tell you right now to stick around for the next segment because Trent Loos is going to be here. He is a guest that I've had on the show before when I filled in for Annie, and I wanted to have him back because last time that I filled in, which was a couple weeks ago. I think it was maybe 2 Fridays ago, actually. I'm not sure. And I think I'll be filling in 2 Fridays as well. But he is a ranch and farmer advocate, and he is so close to farms. I mean, he's a farmer himself, but he's also a podcast host, and he's just very well known throughout the Midwest. If you have moderate to a large farm, you've probably heard of Trent Loos because he's an advocate for you. And in this area, he's very well known. He actually happens to be in Missouri today, so it really works out to do an interview with him, even though he'll still be on the phone. But last time I was filling in, we talked about the chickens and the chicken feed, and a lot of people weighing in on what was happening with their own chickens and why this was happening, how long it had been happening. Well, I booked Trent today to follow up on that because I still have a lot of questions. Yes, we're seeing solutions, and that's great. But I want to know why this has happened. And here's the thing. The guy predicted that we were going to have problems with the egg supply back in about October. And there's different reasons that he predicted that than what came about. So I want to follow up and see if part of that happened in the way that he was expecting and the rest of this didn't. And really, what's going on with the feed? Is it one company? That's what I really want to know. Is this one company that's done this? Or is it multiple companies and they're all having the same issue with the feed, and why? Because tinfoil hat time, if they're all having the same problem, that's one issue. If it's one company, that's a completely different issue. So we'll talk to him next here on the Annie Frey Show. I will hesitate to say, I'll try not to say Wiggins America because I get used to that. This is the Annie Frey Show. The crew being in here, guys, in this first segment, I have several little stories here that I want to play, and we'll start with sound based on the way we started the show yesterday with Nikki Haley.
This is something that I have faced all of my life. If it was Don Lemon yesterday, it was Whoopi Goldberg the day before, there will be somebody else tomorrow. I have always made the liberals' heads explode. They can't stand the fact that a minority conservative female would not be on the Democratic side because they know I pull independents. They know I pull suburban women. They know I pull minorities over to what we are trying to do. And look, he made that comment. I wasn't sitting there saying sexist middle-aged CNN anchors need to have mental competency tests, although he may have just proven that point. What I was saying is we need to be transparent. Those elected officials that are making key decisions for us Americans on national security and keeping our kids safe and the debt, yes, we need to know exactly that we're sending people that are mentally competent to do that.
Burying the lead with the Don Lemon thing is the fact that she is calling for mandatory mental exams for politicians over 75. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. We debated it. I think came to a similar conclusion, right? About whether this would be a good policy choice or not.
Yeah, I think we did. We talked about it a little bit. What we found out is that we couldn't do it without a constitutional amendment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hans told us that.
So it's not going to happen.
We debated it. Hans said, "You're all wrong. You can't do it."
And the other thing is that even if it were going to happen, it would have to be signed by Biden, who's not going to sign it, and it's the whole purpose of having it. Right. So the topic is a little bit moot, but it has brought something to light, and it's not necessarily just Don Lemon, who apparently I've not been watching closely, is not on the air today.
Oh, really?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. But it has brought Biden's age into the spotlight again, and this is from CNN, actually. Biden's age is a hot topic as he looks to extend his time in the Oval Office until he is 86. A little bit of a misleading headline there because he has not declared that he's going to try to actually extend his time in the Oval Office yet. But it says when President Joe Biden went for his annual physical at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on Thursday morning, he set a new record, as he does every morning, as the oldest U.S. president ever. Article goes on to talk about how it is ever present in this administration that he is the oldest president ever serving every single day, setting a new record, just as that said. And apparently this test that he went in for this morning, the doctor came out and said, hey, you know what? He passed with flying colors. Well, it wasn't a mental exam. It was just a physical exam.
Oh
so
gosh.
He didn't answer any questions, and they touted this like, everybody's talking about it. We're going to do the test. We'll be fine. And this morning, I was on the Mark Cox Morning Show, and he pulled up some clips from Trump's doctor and reminded us all that Trump actually did take mental acuity tests because the media constantly was pressing him to do so.
Oh, they were talking about like how he would hold a water bottle and speculating on...
Or walk down a ramp.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, this is early onset dementia. And it's like, guys...
man, you can't even compare. You can't even compare.
Well, and this was during the election season, too. So they were talking about Trump's abilities while Biden was Bidening on the campaign trail.
It's really amazing. I mean, you talk about media malpractice, full display in that instance. But I wanted to, in light of all of this discussion about different ages for things, I wanted to bring up a couple things that I also stumbled across that I thought were worth discussion because we're talking about age-related bills a lot right now. We had the whistleblower come out from St. Louis Children's Hospital, the transgender clinic, talking about all of that, and we'll get to that in a second. But that has kicked off a lot of discussions about other age-related things, which one of them comes right here from Missouri. I mean, that one's super local. That one's literally right here in St. Louis. People listening to us right now, I'm sure have been. I've been to St. Louis Children's Hospital many times, both as a child and as a parent. But this is coming from Josh Hawley. It says, this week, Senator Josh Hawley introduced 2 bills related to use of social media by children, including one that would enforce a minimum age of 16 years old to use any social media platform. Now, let me just say that my first impression of that is positive, that I'm like, well, I don't want my kids, or really, I don't see a need for kids to be using social media right now before 16. I'm sure if I were 15, I'd be thinking differently.
Right.
But as a parent and as an adult, looking back and looking down and saying, well, it doesn't seem to have there are more negatives than positives if you are under 16 using social media. But I wanted to ask you guys that question, both as Hannah, you're a little closer to that age than we were, being 21, and Brad just in the libertarian argument that says, well, this is up to the parents. You shouldn't have the government...
Are you calling me a libertarian?
I am. Well, you bring up the libertarian argument quite a bit, and I figured I'd give you the platform.
His head just tilted.
I know. What? He goes, what? Like he's never made that argument before.
Well, I've made the argument that you should, this is the parents' responsibility, but that's not coming from a libertarian point of view.
Not at all. Really. Because I would have thought the opposite. I thought that because that's been the pushback on this bill, because this does have a chance of passing. I'm not going to say it is because it's Josh Hawley and it's the Senate. they don't have the majority.
I mean, there's a certain point there too. Like, I'm not going to make the arguments like, nah, this is a bad idea because, parents have the rights. Because at that point, you're arguing, if you're going to go full libertarian on that, you're going to argue that the government doesn't even have the right to put age limits on things like tobacco and alcohol because, it's actually the parents' rights. But though, like, okay, at some point though, you're looking at the parents and going, this isn't like a parent giving their child whiskey is not a good thing.
Agreed.
So,
Hannah, you want to chime in on this?
I like Josh Hawley and I like his policies, but I don't stand behind this bill. I think that 16 seems a little high, and like that's, when you drive a car by yourself and everything. I also feel like that's really heavy on government control and like them telling you how to raise your kids.
Well, you lead me into the next one. And like I said, this is a bit of a potpourri, but it's all related to the age-related bills that we're seeing. In some cases federally, this one would be federal. And in some cases, state-wise. This one is should, and I'll use very, very gentle language here, should adult websites require age verification to view adult content? Again, you and I have had this discussion, which is why I said, Mr. Libertarian, what do you think?
I don't know that we've had this discussion.
We have, you forgetting, because I said there's a libertarian argument to be made here that the government should not be intervening in these types of things. And you said, you know what, though, as much as I appreciate those arguments most of the time, I'm putting full words in your mouth.
Yes,
here.
you are, because I don't remember any of this. But go on, let's see if I said something wise.
Yeah. You said in this case, the damage to a minor in looking at adult material before they're an adult, you could even make the case that it would go beyond 18, but on laws, it's 18. That the damage caused is more than the libertarian argument can even make, that you still have to protect kids. And Louisiana has passed a law that says you have to, if you want to have an adult website in Louisiana, you have to have age verification. And Utah's looking at doing that. Several states are looking at doing it, and the public is behind it.
Well, like, if you take this off the internet and you go to a store, if a kid walks in, you can't legally sell them pornographic material.
Correct.
You can't even legally give it to them. That's
correct.
So why does it change when you go online? You would still need to verify that they're not a child.
And there's a lot of questions about the enforcement of this. How do you enforce, whether it be, Hannah, the social media law or an adult website law? Is it just clicking a box? Because we've all seen those. Right. You look at an alcohol website, for instance, and it says, are you 21? You can't really look at this or really peruse this unless you're 21. Click the box. You go, yep. And you go, okay, fine, great. Thanks. Now you know for sure I'm 21.
And since I'm the resident libertarian on the show,
yes.
What would the resident?
You were going to say communist.
No, I'm going to find out.
Leading that way.
I'm going to find out what the resident communist on the show would think of this. So Ryan, what do you think about this?
I don't see any problems with it. In fact, I bring these up because of the whistleblower from the St. Louis Children's Hospital that came out at the end of last week. That we're seeing a tide change right now in thought about this, to say that kids in general are just not cognitively able to handle a lot of these decisions. And in fact, I hate to say this, Hannah, but the science, and you know how I always say, trust the science.
The science
would suggest that you have to be 25 before you're really to the point where your brain is at the place to make.
What did we talk about yesterday with men? They're not fully
emotionally mature until they're
40.
almost 40.
Until they're 40, which I totally agree with.
And
I agree with the 25.
But we're on this topic too. I don't even know. Like, we say 25, and you're talking about like biochemically. You're talking about the chemicals in your brains. But even from a psychological standpoint, you're seeing studies come out of nations where I forget what the thing is, what it's called, but too much of something makes you repulsed by it. So, like, if you go to a buffet, you eat a whole bunch, and then somebody asks you a little bit later, it's like, hey, do you want a hamburger? And hamburger might be your favorite food. And you're like, oh, no. That same thing applies with pornographic material. And they're seeing studies come out of areas in, like, Japan and I think South Korea was another one where like 30% of the young men, aren't even pursuing romantic relationships anymore. They're just consuming it online, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. There's no depth.
There's damage that it does in that manner, but there's also damage that it does like later on in life and setting unrealistic expectations about what a relationship should be and what you should expect in those sorts of relationships.
And the earlier you're exposed to that,
the worse it is.
The worse it is on your brain and your emotions. And I think that there really is no great argument for not limiting this to at least 18. You know where I was going, and we're almost out of time here. I want to get to Trent Loos, so stick around for that.
Okay.
But where I was going was, when do we get to the point where we actually say, you know what, we probably shouldn't even be allowing voting until you're 21? Because that's the natural progression of these things. Democrats are doing the opposite. It's not gaining a lot of traction, but every now and then you see it popping up. Oh, we want to change the voting age to 16. That's at least don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Go the other direction.
But I think that 18 is the right age unless you raise the age of enrolling in the military or enlisting in the military, because I think unless you just want to make an exception, you can vote at 18 if you're a member of the military, but you should be able to vote if the government can send you to war.
That's the exception that I would make. That if this law, if it were gaining popular opinion and moving toward becoming a real law in the United States, that you had to be 21 to vote, I actually would be okay with that, but you'd have to carve out for military.
You would have to.
You can't ask somebody to serve and maybe die for their country and not be able to have a say in that vote. But then you expand it to, well, if you're eligible for the draft, then doesn't that mean for everybody?
Right.
So,
and that's kind of where I get to let's just leave it at 18. Let's not fiddle with it.
Okay, you heard it here. We're going to leave it alone for now. We're going to leave that law where it stands because Brad said we would. Coming up next, like I said, you're going to want to hear this because Trent Loos is right there on the ground. He's going to tell us not only what are the causes of the problems that we're having with our food supply right now, but he's so close to it, he can tell you 6 months down the road what we're going to be dealing with. Stick around. That's up next here on the Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
Diamonds Direct is great. That's the first jewelry place that I walked into and was blown away by.
Former Pro Football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz talking about his jewelry store, Diamonds Direct.
You're getting the best quality and the most for your dollar, and I think Diamonds Direct does that as good as I've ever seen in the jewelry world.
Mitch and his wife, Brooke, love the selection, the quality, and the value at Diamonds Direct. But they also love the laid-back atmosphere and how the associates at Diamonds Direct really listen to their customers.
They're conscientious of educating you and understanding what your desires are and getting you the best value for what you're looking for. It was just a great environment, great atmosphere, making it easy to shop.
Diamonds Direct, proud to serve you with exceptional diamonds, handcrafted engagement rings, and fine designer jewelry.
We value our time, our money, and going to Diamonds Direct, knowing that they're going to value that as well, is a really special place to go to and to purchase jewelry from.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
After a decade of rising home values, Fed Chair Powell says we're entering a difficult market correction. Translation, your home's value is likely to plunge. That's bad news for all homeowners, but especially if you're retired or nearing retirement and need the cash that's tied up in your home. Here's a smart solution, TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home today before values plunge. But here's what makes TrueHold unique. You can continue living in your home with a comfortable rent. The cash is yours now to do whatever you like. Travel and enjoy retirement, invest it, pay off all your bills, whatever. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. TrueHold is the simple, easy solution to unlock financial freedom without having to move and disrupt your life. Discover how much TrueHold will give you now, while its value is high. Call 855-300-9993. Again, 855-300-9993. That's TrueHold. Visit TrueHold.com. TrueHold.com.
Attention bourbon lovers, Mark Cox here. Join me Thursday, March 2nd at the Clayton Wine House for an evening of sampling and mingling. Tickets include appetizers and tastings from some of the finest vendors in the market. Visit 971talk.com/events and get your tickets now.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
A t-shirt said Virginia's for lovers.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
All you're really given is the sunshine in your name. We both started laughing when the sky started to rain. Get along down the road.
This is the Annie Frey Show, and that is, of course, Annie Frey's music. I would have not picked some of this music. Some of it I love.
Hey, that's a shot to the chest.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that music. That's a good song.
Well, so says you, but
it's a good little ditty.
It's not necessarily in the Wiggins playlist. I am Ryan Wiggins, filling in for Annie Frey. We do have the rest of the team here, just sans Annie today. One of my favorite guests is on the phone. Talk to him about once a quarter, I would say. We catch up with Trent Loos from Trent Loos, or I should say LooseTalesMedia.com. If you want to find his podcast there, he is a 6th-generation farmer from central Nebraska and is connected to the farm and ranch world pretty much throughout the middle of the country. Trent, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Ryan, but I'm thinking that was kind of a little stab at Andy, and now we want to know what is on your playlist because you've already thrown it out there that his isn't any good.
Well, it's and it's Annie's playlist, and so I have to abide by it. So I'm not complaining so much, but I would be playing something like 90s Brit rock. Does that jibe with you?
I'm hanging with Annie. I'm just
I would have predicted. So, Trent, last time we talked, and maybe, this was beyond, maybe we've talked since then, but I remember talking to you in about October, September of last year. And I think it was in this same break, when I was filling in for Annie on a different day, that you said, look out because what's ahead this winter is problems with the egg supply. Now, I think it's probably even gone beyond what you had predicted, but I just want to catch up with you on that.
So, right off the bat, we've killed 41 million laying hens in the United States alone in the past 12 months. And when I say we've killed them, they've euthanized them. The USDA has euthanized them because of avian influenza. I really am suspect on how they've done that. I visited with some veterinarian officials in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's been one of the big states really hit. The protocols have not been good. The end result is that we're significantly short on eggs. There has been a massive number of people that saw what I was talking about and saw the same thing, and they added backyard flocks. And strangely enough, there have been many reports of people with their own chickens that are not laying eggs like they should or would be at this time of year, even though in January, in short daylight hours, chickens shut down. They don't do the same type of production that they did. So people put artificial lights in the brooders and things like that. And still, there was a challenge to getting these chickens to lay eggs like they should. Now, I have chickens at our place, and we've gotten along really well. We just use the commercial feeds. Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. At the end of the day, my whole story with the background is egg prices have tripled in most places. It's common to see eggs at $6.50. You see states like California, Colorado, that have been foolishly putting in parameters and telling chicken farmers how to take care of their chickens with cage-free laws and things like that. Those eggs are $8 to $9 a dozen. And, Brian, here's the most important part of this whole egg story, and one that I think is probably why eggs are hard to come by. In 1893, you didn't know you were going to get a history lesson, but in 1893, published in the National Institutes of Health. You can find this today in the National Institutes of Health, a government website disseminating information. It verifies that the egg yolk is actually responsible when ingested by a human for going into the gut, building good gut bacteria, doing wonderful things for gut health, but it also neutralizes toxins. Any toxin that comes into that body could be neutralized by an egg yolk, which would lead us to believe, and science says, that eating eggs is going to help build your immune system and neutralize any toxin that you come in contact with. So now we understand that eggs are more important than ever, and they're harder to come by than ever. So are those two things related? I don't know. It sure causes somebody to go,
Trent, I appreciate you going back to 1893 because modern science would suggest that every 2 years we change our minds on whether or not eggs are healthy for us, right?
Well, see, that brings about the whole cholesterol discussion because you still have people who say, I can't eat eggs because of cholesterol. Cholesterol serves a valuable purpose in the human body. It keeps the arterial section running well. It keeps your heart functioning well. It keeps those valves working good. And we've been tying up cholesterol. And I've been telling people this lately, and they think I'm nuts. But every night, I used to watch TV. Ryan, I don't watch TV anymore. But every night when you'd watch TV at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, there would be a Lipitor ad on. And the Lipitor ad was that you have a cholesterol problem. We need to tie up that cholesterol, right? We got to take that cholesterol. We're going to limit it for you because the doctor said you're over 200. We got to get you below 200, which is a fallacy. That's not the case at all. Dr. Nathan Bryan is a guest you should have to talk about cardiovascular health and how important nitrates are, and statins are not the answer. But I'm going to ask him, put you, the host, on the spot. Every night after the Lipitor ad to tie up your cholesterol, what was the ad that was on television right after that?
I'm going to guess it was an ad for Hannity.
For what?
For the Sean Hannity show is a Fox News promo. Am I wrong?
You're dead wrong. I thought that's what you said. I'm like, did you really say that?
No, tell me
it's
what.
A Viagra ad. It's a Viagra ad. Why is the Viagra ad on after the statin ad? Because testosterone requires cholesterol to be made. And so we take a drug that ties up our cholesterol, which is doing healthy things for the body, and then they sell you another drug to fix what the cholesterol tying up just causes a problem. The moral of the story is we've been taking pills for far too long, and we need to get back to these whole foods that we do pre-1900, help the human body build better gut health and build the immune system.
Trent Loos on the phone with a sixth-generation farmer from central Nebraska, but you're in Missouri today, aren't you?
I just spoke at the Chillicothe Chamber of Commerce FFA kickoff luncheon. It was a fantastic crowd, and FFA used to stand for Future Farmers of America. Today it's just the name of the organization, the FFA, which was created in 1928. But I learned something today that I didn't know being in Chillicothe.
Okay.
You know the most famous thing to ever come from Chillicothe, Missouri?
I probably should, since I live closer to it than you do, but I don't.
Okay. Actually, you're going to get a pass on this one, Ryan.
Okay.
In July 6th, 1928, Otto Rohwedden, obviously from Germany, but he was born in Iowa, invented the mechanical slicing of bread. And so every time somebody says, best thing since sliced bread, all of that originated from Chillicothe, Missouri. Now, here's why you get a pass. Because I felt embarrassed. I've been through Chillicothe. I travel Highway 36 a lot. I didn't know that Chillicothe, Missouri was the home of sliced bread, and yet we say that saying all the time. The people in Chillicothe didn't know that. It was 2005 that somebody found out that this guy in 1928 invented a machine that started selling sliced bread. So now you go through Chillicothe, everybody brags about the home of sliced bread.
You know what? This is kind of embarrassing for you because I think we all did know that, and we are surprised that you didn't. So, you know, I will give you a pass on that.
Hey, Ryan, I got egg on my face, which is healthy for me.
Thanks for the segue, because I want to ask you more questions about the eggs. So what can we expect to happen with the egg prices? Are we going to have relief from this soon or what?
No, actually, the next step is the challenge in even finding eggs, no matter what the cost. There's going to be a limit on the amount of eggs you can find, and that's sad because I talk to people around the world every day. The UK has got a more severe problem than we do. Australia is developing the same problem. If you have a local farm or you know somebody that you want to partner with or you want to put some backyard chickens in, now's the time to do it.
Well, now is this because of the avian flu, which you predicted back in the fall, or does this have to do with the feed? Is it double? Which one is it?
It is C, all of the above. We've had too many laws put in place. Question 3 in Massachusetts. Colorado just put in place a law that says the chickens cannot be in a cage. California's had this law in effect since 2015. We have bad policies for food. We've had attacks on the food system. We've had over 100 food plants that have had just mysterious fires, kind of like a mysterious train crash in East Palestine, Ohio on February the 6th. There's just too many things happening to disrupt the food supply, and eggs are the target right now. I happen to believe that they're the target because they are the most nutritious, most economical protein and antioxidant one can consume.
Can you tell us any more? Because what I really want to know is about the feed. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when I would say that story was kind of breaking, and it really never broke all the way through, but we were talking about it here, about even local farmers, people chiming in on our chat here on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page, that their chickens had done the same thing over the winter, that you said, normally there is a dip in production of eggs over the winter, but they had just completely stopped laying. And when they switched to goat feed or a different feed, it was fixing it. So my question is, and I really don't know who to ask other than you, is this all one company's feed that has the problem, or is this feed across the board?
It's not feed across the board because on my own radio programs for about 5 days in a row, I continued to see on the internet, and it's funny you mentioned goat feed because that is the example that's used every time. I stopped using my chicken feed and I started using goat feed, and the chickens are laying great. So nobody that I knew personally had any chickens that stopped laying. Everybody I knew, the chickens were laying. Our chickens were laying above normal, actually. I have other people in my area that are above normal. I have people I know in every state. They're all above normal. So I said, I want to hear from people that don't tell me what you read on the internet. I want to know. And Ryan, I'll tell you that in the last 3 weeks, I've had about 6 people who got a hold of me and said their chickens are not laying like they should be. And I asked them what their feed source is, and it seems as though they all are using a chicken feed source that would not be far from where you're sitting right now.
Okay, so it is one company probably had bad feed for this season.
That's a great point, because we know that in the eastern half of the United States, the corn crop had a tremendous high level of aflatoxins and different bacteria and mycotoxins that do cause reproductive failures. And so that is a very valid point and concern. That's something that should be followed up on. But here's the other part of that. Any reputable company is testing for mycotoxins before they actually make a bag of feed. They don't make a bag, they make a ton, they make several ton, and then bag the feed. It's not within protocol not to do a mycotoxin test on feed before it's manufactured.
Trent, before we run out of time with you, because we're right up against the clock here, I got about 2 minutes. I want to catch up with you on one other topic that we have discussed before, and that is China owning farmland, especially in the United States. It seems like there's been a lot of movement on this topic, that many states have banned ownership. I want to know what you, as a sixth-generation farmer, man who's close to many, many ranchers and farmers throughout the entire Midwest especially, what do you think of these laws? Are we moving in the right direction, or are they really going to accomplish what they're setting out to do?
They're not going to accomplish what they're setting out to do. They're going to limit the opportunity for people in the United States that currently own property. The state of Oklahoma put in place the first ban on Chinese ownership. The people in China have been going around that law. And what people need to recognize is that already China has had an investment in American food systems and agriculture. In fact, 1 in every 3 pounds of pork in your grocery store is owned by Smithfield Foods, who is owned by WH Group since 2013, and WH Group is based in Hong Kong. It's a Chinese company. We've got Chinese been buying our resources left and right. I don't have the answer, but I do know that we cannot limit American ingenuity and American property rights by trying to put in place a law to limit China, that they're just going to find a loophole around anyway.
So it's not even really a legislative problem that can be fixed. It's not something that a law can fix.
I need to put a preface on that, and I know we're short on time. I don't think anything is fixed with legislation. I think a legislator, state in Jeff City and in Washington, D.C. should meet every 5 years, not every year. We'd have fewer problems. But we've got to fix these things in-house, not rely on legislation. Legislation does not provide solutions.
Trent, I really always appreciate your perspective. It's one of the reasons I love having you on live whenever I get to host the Annie Frey Show and catching up on things. So your website is loosetalesmedia.com. The podcast is Loose Tales if you want to catch up with Trent. Thank you for your time today.
I'm looking for more than a quarter next time, Ryan. More than a quarter of the year.
Okay, so I'll try to have you back before the end of the next quarter. I think we'll try to set an appointment.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Trent. Appreciate it. You can always pick up the podcast at the Annie Frey. Well, you type in the Annie Frey Show, and it comes up in multiple spots. You can rewind on the Odyssey app if you missed the beginning of that. If you'd like to hear it, that is Trent Loos from Loose Tales Media. I want to say Trent Loose Tales Media. I am Ryan Wiggins, filling in for Annie Frey today. Have a very, very special guest filling in for me today. Usually in the next segment, I do Wiggins America, but today it's going to be none other
than the resident libertarian.
What did we come up with the name? We were going to call it something else when you were
Within Range.
Within Range. Yes, because of the multiple meanings. It's so funny. And if you don't get the joke, it's really on you.
If you don't get the joke, it just shows how not good of a joke it actually is.
Within Range is coming up next on the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Wondered was she photoshopped or were her eyes really that lonely?
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Give your sweetheart an experience rather than a gift, like a night out for dinner or a couple's massage. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is where real local and national accountability happens. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
I should probably mention that Annie's day off today is a planned day off. She's not sick. She's doing fine. She's actually in the chat if you still want to talk to her. She's talking to all of us right now. And what did you guys do last night, Brad? You guys did something kind of crazy, you and Annie.
Oh, we went to the boxing gym together.
No wonder your hands are all bruised.
Yeah, if you're watching on the chat, if you look at my hands, my knuckles are a little bruised.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah.
That's some serious bruisage. Did you do that from hitting Annie in the face?
Yeah. No, I didn't hit Annie in the face. I'm not that advanced
That's good
yet.
to clear it up.
I've never done it before. I just got in there to try it one time, and I gave it a shot, and I had a blast.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it was
it
a lot of fun.
kickboxing?
Yeah, it was kickboxing.
There's a video that he showed me.
I showed Hannah.
this.
I haven't shared the video yet, but I was thinking about sharing it. But then again, I don't know that I want to share it. I might want to wait until I do it some more.
Cool.
And then I look better doing it because I'm watching it and I was like,
Did you actually fight Annie?
No.
You fought a trainer.
Wiggins is like, I want to see that.
I did fight the trainer. The trainer had the hand pads. You know, when you watch those boxing movies and stuff, and they have their palms up with those pads on. That's what I started with. I am not going to hit Annie, even if we spar. I'm just going to get hit by Annie.
Wow.
Did you do one of those things where you punch the bag and it tests how hard you punch?
No.
Like in Rocky IV?
No, that wasn't there anymore because Annie punched it and broke it before I got a chance.
Oh, yeah? I'm sure that's
Number
true.
went through the roof, things started smoking, spark shot out, and the coach was like, you can't do it now, bro.
Well, she's in her prime.
She is.
I haven't mentioned the YouTube poll today, by the way, which Annie is also in. The poll is, from which show member would you likely seek counsel? If you needed counsel or a counselor, would you choose Hannah, myself, Annie, or Brad? We always do these on Friday to see, which show member you identify most with. So let us know. I'm not going to necessarily make a strong case for myself in this. I'm going to let other people make that case for me by voting for me.
I'm not going to make a strong case for myself. I think my case speaks for itself.
I think it obviously does. But before we lose too much time here, I want to make sure that we have enough time for for Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh, Wiggins! The whole show is Wiggins America.
I know. I want to make sure that we have enough time for all of the Wiggins that this show can absorb.
You didn't even make me a stinger.
That is true.
It's your job.
Yeah. What is your official title again?
I have no defense of why I have no.
But
yes, actually, I do.
What
it's
is
because
for
I
the
don't
people?
Care.
That's not a defense.
I don't care.
That's a reason.
I want a reason to play my own sounder, even when I'm not doing the segment. So this is within range.
Yeah. So I came across this story because I don't know if I said this on the air, if I was just joking with Annie off the air, but it was during Biden's press conference. He was talking about how the objects that they shot down, he's like, it's most likely that these were either, private scientists or, research balloons. He said they didn't belong to the Chinese. They might even been part of hobby groups. And I don't remember if I said this on the air. If I looked at Annie, I said, what are the chances that this is like some hobbyist's balloon and they're like sitting there collecting their data and they're doing their amateur meteorology stuff. And then all of a sudden it just goes off the air. Well, guess what?
I can't wait.
This is awesome. So this group is from Northern Illinois. So it's got, a state link.
Hey.
They're called the Bottlecap Balloon Brigade, and they were tracking one of their balloons, and it was in the area. So this is the one that was shot down over the Yukon up in Canada. They said it was in the area, and then it has gone off the radar. They don't know where it is, and they have been contacted by the FBI, and they think that possibly this amateur balloon group, it was their balloon that the Biden administration shot down.
You know what's so funny?
What is the name?
It is the Northern Illinois Bottlecap Balloon Brigade.
Right behind you on Fox News right now, John Kirby is doing a press conference about, oh my gosh, they just changed the chyron too. White House pressed on possible hobby balloon shoot down. Man, you are on it.
I am on it today. So the group was formed 2 years ago, and it got its name from the film Up. So
this is great. This is great.
The bottle cap is from the Ellie badge, which was the purple bottle cap. So that's where they got it from. And there were 10 people that started this group, and they were ages 11 years old and up. So it was like little kids wanting to do this.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club.
There's little kids wanting to do this after they watched the movie. And they're like, oh, let's make balloons. And then their parents got involved and helped them out with this. So Biden shot down a little kid's hobby balloon.
Oh.
Saved the country.
You know what, though? I mean, it's funny, but among possible scenarios that it could have been, I'd much rather this be some random hobby balloon than an actual Chinese spy balloon.
Of course.
Well, and the thing about it to me, and this is kind of the conversation piece here, is it's like, what is the Biden administration doing? Like, is this all of these balloons that I know a lot of people got worked up about them, but were they just like, oh, we let the Chinese balloon go by? Because the recent news is they knew it took off. They knew it was supposed to go over Guam, didn't, made a beeline for Alaska, went over Alaska, and then all over our military bases, and then we shot it down. Like, I think I forget who said it this morning, but I heard this person say, we let them in the back door and then took them out after they'd gone out the front door and said, mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So is all of this shooting down of these unknown aerial phenomenon, or whatever they call them now, is this all this, the Biden administration overcompensating? And so rather than not shooting anything down, we're going to shoot down everything now.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's literally the press conference that's happening right now with John Kirby. Just from reading the subtitles and the chyrons, they're asking him, why are you just deciding now that the policy is shoot everything? Because what if it is just a hobby balloon? Can they not tell the difference between something that is, because near me, there's one of these types of societies. I don't know what the name of it is, but I've driven past it before, and they fly big model planes. So they're probably the size of me. They're the size of an adult male.
5'8".
The average size of an adult male with
with a wingspan of about 5'3".
I would say that the height of this plane is roughly about 5'9.5".
They weigh less than you, though.
I don't know that. I've never picked one up. But they fly, and if I drive down a certain road near Horseshoe Lake Road, you'll see them sometimes, and they're big. It's kind of neat to see, but that's what this sounds like. That balloon couldn't have been that much bigger than one of these model planes.
It's just a reaction, and that to me has been one of my biggest frustrations with this administration from the beginning is they are not proactive, they are reactive, and their reactions are always worse than like even their proactive stuff. That balloon, like, do you remember them talking? They were talking about like, well, it was in the aircraft flying range. There was this height. Well, these balloons that this group shoots up, that's the height that they go to, 47,000 feet or so. That's what they're supposed to fly at. So the whole, it was a danger to airlines? No, it wasn't, because there are hobbyists like this all the time, and I'm sure they have to be in contact with the FAA and all this other stuff, but they know where these things are at. Here's a tinfoil hat theory.
Please.
What if they just wanted to look really good about it and they went and got some data from the FAA and found out where certain ones are, and then they're going and targeting balloons that were already out there? Like, they tried it again, but we didn't let them this time.
They knew that this was the Bottlecap Club of Northern Illinois, and they went after it just to look good.
Yeah.
I kind of like that theory. You're right. They do just react. They don't seem to, regardless of the issue. They've had Jim Carafano said this once, and it really stuck with me, that they have a domestic agenda, and it is a pretty radical leftist social agenda for all of the, Pete Buttigieg goes in and changes the names of airmen to air people and stuff like that.
They're so focused on that
Yes.
that everything foreign policy wise is second, not second nature, but second fiddle to it. And it really is a problem because the executive branch's biggest responsibility, the executive branch is the branch that does foreign policy, and they're just ignoring it to remake America or whatever it is that they're trying to do.
I don't know. Brad, it sounds like that you're casting doubt on the chief executive.
This is true.
And I'm not sure that we approve of that on the Annie Frey Show.
You're starting to sound like a communist now. I'm speaking ill of dear leader.
We will ask Annie if we can say these things. She is in the chat if you want to get on to the YouTube or the Facebook. I think we're on Twitch too. And
Vote
talk
in the
to
poll.
any of us, including Annie today. And we'll be right back at the Annie Frey Show.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Don Chamberlain from right here in Greater St. Louis, and I want to give you a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth, because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans in 401ks and IRAs have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I had enough. There may be a way to grow your money when the market goes up, potentially double digits in good years, reduce taxes, and have my principal protected if the market declines again. Call Chamberlain Group now to get my free book and talk to me personally to discover the strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose principal if the market declines again. Call 1-800-807-3838 to discover this asset, and I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-807-3838. That's 1-800-807-3838. Again, 1-800-807-3838.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
first court appearance for 5 former cops. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Not guilty pleas entered today by 5 former Memphis police officers facing second-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and other charges stemming from the death of Tyree Nichols.
Who was beaten and kicked during his arrest on January 7th and died 3 days later. Body cam video recorded Nichols yelling for his mother during the violent arrest. She and Nichols' stepfather were in the courtroom when Judge James Jones Jr. announced that the case would take some time.
We understand that there may be some high emotions in this case, but we ask that you continue to be patient with us.
The former officers were part of a crime suppression team known as Scorpion, which has since been deactivated.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine today updating residents of the town of East Palestine that about environmental inspections following the train derailment and toxic chemical release.
So nothing from the train derailment was found in the homes. Nothing was found out on the street.
DeWine says inspections will continue. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Democrat Henry Cuellar of Texas are meeting local leaders in law enforcement in Laredo, Texas today.
This comes after Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy made his first trip to the border as Speaker and says a lack of effectiveness in border security is a major problem.
You cannot tell us this border is secure when now there is enough fentanyl in this country to kill every single American more than 20 times over.
The visit comes as Border Patrol agents say they've recorded over 64,000 migrant encounters over the last 2 weeks.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. Turkish officials say tens of thousands of apartments have been destroyed by the earthquake earlier this month. The number of dead in Turkey and Syria has now surpassed 43,000. America is listening to Fox News.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Below average temperatures are back for our Friday afternoon. 38 for the high today. Lots of sunshine out there, though, and the winds aren't too bad. Clear and cold tonight, 25. On to the 3-day weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, windy, and chilly. 54 the high. That wind will make it nippy to be out and about. Sunday, sunny and 58. Monday, President's Day, partly sunny, 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For every season and every day, we've got you covered with Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather, and Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray on 97.1 FM Talk, your home for conservative talk.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Under Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
This is Ryan Wiggins filling in for Annie Frey here on Friday. She is in the...
What on earth are you doing?
I don't know. It doesn't matter because I'm not the normal host, so I can just do anything.
It matters to me.
Because I won't lose my job
Get it
because
together,
it's
Ryan.
gone on Monday anyway.
We are professionals and we are broadcasting.
Annie is in the chat right now, which, by the way, if you get on there and you vote, the vote for the day, we always do a Friday poll based on just sort of the personalities in the room, and Annie is in the virtual room. So which show member would you most likely seek counsel from? If you needed counseling, who would you seek it from? Hannah, Ryan, Annie, or Brad? I have not seen the results yet. We don't know the results until the very end when Hannah delivers those results. So get your vote in. While you're there, Annie is basically forcing likes right now. She's promising things that I'm going to do, apparently, that involve gyrations, me dancing.
Gyrations is one way of putting it.
Using my body to get likes is what I would phrase that as. And apparently,
that's not inaccurate.
So I apparently am going to have to dance if you like this 100 times. So don't do that. Just get on this chat and say you are there, but then don't like it because I don't really want to do that.
Oh, Ryan.
But in the meantime, of course, get on there and vote for who you think you would seek counsel from. We will make our case later. Right now, I want to get to a story that if you're steeped in these things, you probably know all about this. Hannah is that person. When it comes to sports,
she is the show's sports expert.
There are things that we don't even know are happening, and she'll be like, "Oh, did you look at MLBTradeRumors.com and did you see that they're talking about trading so and so to the Blue Jays?" And we're like, "I don't even know what you're talking about."
She is the show's Bob Nightingale.
That's what I would have said. The look on her face suggests that she agrees. We were actually talking, I don't know if it was because we knew that we were going to talk about this topic, but...
What topic?
It's sports. And it's about Major League Baseball implementing these new rules. So MLB has enacted new rules that this season we have never seen before. And I want to know what our resident expert thinks about this. You being that expert. And then we'll hear from Brad, who runs a little Cardinals podcast or whatever, his little thing he does, and see what he thinks too. But the first one, Hannah, as you know, I mean, you already know all of these. I just want to get your professional opinion.
Right. Okay, here we go.
The pitch timer. So there's going to be, the goal of this is going to be less waiting, more action, 15-second pitch timer with bases empty, 20 with runners on. Violations are an automatic ball or strike. Your thoughts? You have the floor.
I am all for the pitch timer because I would like the game to go by faster. So, yeah.
That was super deep.
Timer.
Brad, for a novice
So
opinion.
it's an automatic ball or strike based on what?
If they violate the pitch clock.
Like, at what point would it be like negative for a pitcher to violate the pitch clock and get a strike called?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is this a pitch clock that both the batter and the pitcher are supposed to abide by?
Well, I guess that's how it would happen, is if the batter doesn't get in the box fast enough.
I think it's going to be useless because a batter can be granted timeout and there's extenuating circumstances. I think it was Matt Holliday that was up to bat at one point and a bug flew in his face, like in his ear or something like that, and he had to jump out of the batter's box.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was kind of like he freaked out at the plate. Like people were like,
Yeah.
what? And then you went back and watched the replay. You see this big old animal hit him in the ear. And you're like, holy cow!
Ooh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Animal.
It was, yeah, it was an animal. This
Fly.
was. Yeah, it was like hummingbird-sized bug, and it flew in his ear. Anyway,
And it controls him to this day. It stayed on his brainstem.
that's why he's not. No. What ended up happening, what I think will end up happening is that the umpires won't enforce this and it won't make a difference on the game. There's only a few pitchers out there that are a human rain delay. There are some pitchers out there that are machines that they just absolutely want to go. So get them the ball back as fast as possible so they can get their next pitch in. There's other batters or other pitchers that take forever. But part of pitching and part of hitting is disrupting the other's timing. And I think this is going to mess with that. And I don't think the umpires are going to enforce it very strictly.
You're talking about it more from the batter's standpoint, but from the pitchers, they won't be able to constantly be calling timeout and stuff. So
Right.
they will have to speed up.
But they won't. Like what I'm saying is the umpires are not going to enforce this.
There's
There's going to be like a 2 or 3 second leeway that they'll give these pitchers, and it's not going to make any noticeable difference in the speed of the game.
I am anxious to see, because this is a very big shift in the way the game would be played. And I do like the idea of seeing things move faster, but I'm overall, throughout all these things that we talk about, I'm a bit of a baseball purist. And
I think the problem with baseball to me isn't that the pitcher isn't throwing enough pitches fast enough. That's not why baseball seems slow. I think why baseball seems slow is they moved into a type of game, a style of game where you've got batters that are like looking for launch angle and swinging for home runs and stuff like that. And the home run, the long ball is valued over that. So you get guys cutting for the fence more. Well, when you swing for the fence more, you're going to swing and miss more. So you're getting more walks and you're getting more strikeouts, and those aren't exciting plays.
I think you just took that from Hannah. That sounds exactly like what she says off air.
Yeah.
Well, I've been reading your blog.
Oh, thank
Hannah,
you.
just for you, we'll start with you, the expert.
Okay.
This is rule number 2 that is changing. And I think this actually is 2 rules, so we'll separate this out. It's shift restrictions. You understand what's going on here. More hits and athleticism is the goal. 2 fielders on each side of second base. So you can't do the shift. You can't throw your shortstop behind second base, put him halfway in the outfield or whatever, because they know so much about the hitter that he's always a pull hitter or whatever. You have to have players on each side of the base. What do you think?
You've got to talk, Hannah.
Are you for it, against it, just generally?
For it.
Okay.
More the merrier.
Okay. Brad?
Well, this is one of those areas where, even though I've read Hannah's blog, I'm going to have to disagree with her. I think that whenever they create...
Nothing. The only thing I kind of understood was... Actually, no, I didn't even understand. Shortstop? What even is that? I don't even know.
You ever heard of Ozzie Smith?
That's the position Ryan plays. You have to be 5'4" or under.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
The shortstop plays in between third and second base on the infield. So you've got the person that plays at third base, which is the third baseman, then the shortstop, then there's second base, then you've got the second baseman, and then the first baseman.
Got it.
All right, follow? So I hate the idea of making the shift illegal, because it's just, again, it's allowing for bad hitting. If there are hitters and errors, they didn't do the shift in the eras past, because the hitters would look at that and go, oh, look, there's a free base hit, because nobody is standing where the shortstop used to stand. So they would just hit the ball over there. But again, it goes back to that focus on launch angle, exit velocity, hitting the ball hard into gaps, trying to get extra base hits and that sort of thing, that they've kind of gotten away from contact hitting. So these hitters that are focusing on that, they tend to hit the balls in very specific spots. So it's actually really good defense to say, this person hits this ball in this area like 98% of the time. Let's have a player stand there.
Isn't this just a focus more on the game has shifted toward metrics in general, though?
Well, I don't know if
less
it's
about
that.
the hitters and more about the study of the hitters.
It might be, but like the reason that Again, the reason that they're doing this is because they need balls in play. Balls in play are what makes the game exciting.
Yeah, they just need more balls in play.
More balls with a Z. Anyway, they're trying to create that, but rather than adjust how the hitters are hitting, they're trying to adjust how the defense can play defense, and I think that's backwards. I think that what Major League Baseball wants is, again, more action, base running, stuff like that. That's what's exciting about baseball. You know, with the shift on, you get this ball, you're like, oh, that guy smoked it. It's going to be a hit. And, oh, there's a player standing right there. So they're putting players in the most likely position the ball is going to be hit to, which is just smart defense.
Hannah, the second part of that rule, as you know, is that infielders will have to have both feet on the dirt.
Against.
Okay. She's against that one. Both feet on the dirt at the pitch release. So they can move after that. But you got to be in the infield. You can't start in the outfield.
I'm against that as well.
Same reasons?
I think you should be able to have 9 players, and you can just play anybody wherever you want.
Man,
to your benefit or detriment.
Hannah's not impressed. You just seem to be saying whatever everybody else is saying. Mm-hmm. Bigger bases, the last one. Woo! Bigger bases. Hannah's for it. I'm personally for this rule for sure, just because who cares? I don't really know why
better the game.
This would matter. Bases go from being 15 inches to 18 inches in width, and it's just to make more aggressive base running. So I guess it's harder to round a base if the base is small. It's easier if it's a little bigger.
I thought it was.
You're scowling.
Yeah, I don't know that this is going to make any difference. It's like what is an extra 2 inches? What difference is that going to make? I mean, I know it would make a difference for you, Ryan, because then you'd be above average height. But
what do you mean while I stand on the base?
If you were a little 2 inches higher, you'd be like 5'8" instead of 5'6".
Man, you're going back to that watering hole quite often.
All the time, and I'm going to continue forever because you're short. Anyway, I don't say like to me the argument was always brought. This will allow for more aggressive base running in the idea of like taking an extra base or stealing a base. And the idea is there's more of the base to guard for the defender when he puts the tag on. So you're more likely to get a stolen base if you are sliding in there. You've got more area to be safe at. I don't think that this base being 2 inches bigger is really going to make a noticeable difference. But they can't go out there and they can't put 24-inch bases on the base.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I mean, if you're going to do it. Make it work.
Make a huge base.
Yeah, a huge base. Huge. So that when the player slides in there, maybe it is more difficult to guard. You know, it's like making the goal bigger in soccer. You just got more area to shoot, but they're only going to make it an inch bigger all the way around. Does that really make a huge difference?
I think it does. I think especially for the first baseman, being able to put his foot on the bag. It's like softball. You know, they have the extra base.
Orange safety bag?
Yeah, it's like that. Overall, though, are you against these? Would you consider yourself a baseball purist, and that's why you're against
I
most
lean
of these?
Baseball purist.
I do too. In fact, the DH to me was what broke the dam, because they were wanting to do this forever, and then COVID gave them excuse to do it. And is the game worse for it? I don't think so. But if you want to slippery slope this thing, what you've just done is that you're starting to create, at least for one position, down the road, you could have a full defensive team and an offensive team, just like in football. Not saying we're there.
Yeah, throw the defense out there. Now bring in the offense.
Exactly.
I've seen people recommending, like, what if instead of having a batting order, each player had 3 or 4 at bats, and they got to use the manager got to use them, but once they were used up, they don't get to use that player anymore. So the manager could choose who bats in what situation.
Ooh, the baseball purist is not liking that.
That one gives me heartburn.
That's because part of it is all the records, keeping track of who's gotten the most hits, who's, the crazy records that come from baseball, and they're harder to compare if you change things too much.
Well, it's like what the distinguished members in our chat have said. They're trying to change baseball to make it more appealing to people who don't like baseball. And that's not,
it's a financial decision.
So at some point, you're going to change the game so much that you're going to alienate your base for people who probably aren't going to watch baseball anyway.
Yeah. Annie Frey, I'm going to give her the last word. She says, extra innings runner on second sucks.
I agree. Zombie runner on second.
I've been saying this all day. I don't know if I've said it on the air. I'm looking forward to this next segment so much. I told the team, please give me Queen bump music. And I'm going to explain why Queen, the band, even without Freddie Mercury, missed the best chance possible to become almost as good as their peak. And it's a crazy story. And I have actually a personal tie to it. I can't even tell you everything now, but stick around. That's next here on The Annie Frey Show.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you are in the market to make a firearm purchase, go to STS Armory and talk to them about what you are looking for. Here's the phone number to call, 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS. They're located on South Drive in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. It's the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. This is where my family goes. They are family-owned and operated. They have classes available to you, help you once you make your purchase or before you make a purchase. Feel confident. Get the whole, all of the requirements by the state of Illinois. Yes, they are there. Yes, you have to comply, like concealed and carry basic pistol courses. They have ladies only classes. They have a pepper spray class. They also offer classes for kids and teens when it comes to firearm safety and education. They have an instructor level class, advanced classes. They also have drawing from concealment, which is something I'm really looking forward to learning better. Plus, they have an off-body carry class. They train every experience level from never touched a firearm to advanced. STS Armory. Call them at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS.
As the familiar tune fills the air, joy radiates along with the heat of flickering flames. You make a wish for another year surrounded by the ones you love. With each passing year, the compassionate team at Prairie Cardiovascular will be by your side with heart care that allows you to focus on what matters most. A life well lived. Prairie Cardiovascular, here with you.
Need to sell your home but not willing to play the wait and see game? Hey, it's Mark Cox here for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. With Gloria, you have options, including a no-obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Lou's cash buyers. It's simple, it's straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Lou and her cash offer program, you're always in control. Not ready for a cash offer? No problem. Gloria has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at the agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it guaranteed in writing. Call her today and ask about her no obligation cash offer program at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
This is your chance to join me on a European river cruise this summer. Mark Cox here for my friends at Sunrise Tours. In August, we'll cruise the Danube River with stops in Budapest and Vienna, to name a few. Cabin prices start at just $3,700, including airfare. Plus, you can add a 5-day pre-cruise trip to historic Poland with visits to Auschwitz and the mountains of Slovakia. Call 314-526-3126 or go online to travelsunrise.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jess Shaw is with us from hotair.com. They're going to keep going with this movie, Rust.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and keep shooting the movie. It seems a little disrespectful to me.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Walks barely down the street with the brim pulled way down low. Ain't
No sound but the sound of speed. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
Good stuff. Queen featuring Freddie Mercury. And that's pretty much the way we all know Queen, is Queen featuring Freddie Mercury. There aren't a whole lot of iterations of Queen that we know without Freddie Mercury. But that's where I want to dive into today. I've been teasing this with these guys. They're probably like, what the heck are you going to do here?
He won't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I won't, because something popped up in my feed that reminded me of a competition that was happening. And I'm just remembering this from personal experience, so I may get a little detail here or there wrong. But I believe this was 2011, that Queen had a competition that they opened up for their lead singer, because they still, the band members
right
at that point were all still alive. I think they may all still be today, Brian May being the most famous of the remaining members. And his guitar work and everything is pretty legendary. So they, ever since Freddie Mercury died, they've had a problem. They don't have a front man, but they still have a band. And a lot of bands like The Who and Pink Floyd, they still have their front men, and Led Zeppelin, and Rolling Stones, to name even more. They all have their front men, the most famous ones, but their other band members have died. So they've still been able to tour without really, a whole lot of disruption. Whereas Queen, I mean, they were messed up from the minute they lost Freddie. So they've long had this problem, of course. So in 2011, they go through different singers, and they have people. Well, they had a competition. It was probably to get a little bit of media on it, that they were going to do a world tour, and they were just going to open it up. Instead of having auditions, they were just going to say, anybody submit. And they were going to have people vote on who they thought was the best singer for the next world tour with Queen. It's kind of a big deal. All right. I'm going to play for you the audition that got the most votes. And there's a story behind this, and I want to tell it. And I actually have, like I said, a personal connection to this in a way.
Is it you?
I'm not going to tell you the person's name until we get done. So this is roughly a minute long, a little bit over a minute. But I just want you to hear this audition and how good it was, being the number one audition to be the lead singer of Queen.
Mark Martel.
Oh, there's his name, by the way.
Here we go. With the Dirty Stash. Each morning I get up, I die a little. Can barely stand on my feet. Take a look in the mirror and cry. Lord, what you do to me? I spent all of my years in believing you, but I just can't get no relief. Lord, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love?
Pretty good, right?
That's real close.
Mm-hmm. Not quite done yet.
I work hard every day of my life. I work till like my bones. At the end of the day, I take home my hard-earned pay. Oh, I get down on my knees and I start to pray till the tears run down from my eyes. Lord, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love? He walks every day. I try. Everybody wants to put me down. They say I've gone crazy. They say I got a lot of water in my brain. I got no common sense. He's got nobody left to believe.
Okay, he's just in his apartment doing this. There's no processing. There's nothing happening. He's just singing into a mic with a backing track. It's almost done, so we'll hear just the end of it here, Hannah. Go ahead.
Somebody.
All right. His name is Mark Martel.
That was great.
That was real good.
He's fantastic. He's really unbelievable. Now, I said there's a personal connection here. I think that I've met Mark Martel. He is a Christian musician. You know his name?
I know this story.
Do you?
Yes.
Have I told this story?
I don't know if you've told this or not. But
okay. So Mark Martell was one of the singers of a band. If you know the Christian music world at all, you may recognize. Now, the band hasn't been around for probably 8-9 years now, because when this stuff started happening, they splintered apart. I don't think they had a bad breakup, but they became a different thing. The band was called Down Here.
Okay.
Does that sound?
That sounds a little familiar.
I'm going to play a little bit of a song from Down Here. And then I'll tell you more of the story about what happened after this audition. So just to give you an idea, if you have listened to Christian music, this is one of the songs that you may recognize from Down Here. This is the beginning. I'll jump to the middle here in a second to show you. They have two singers. Both of them are very good, but they sound very different. So listen to the low guy. Mark Martell is the high guy.
I'm not alone. I really believe you never go, you never leave.
Okay, so this guy actually sings more than Mark Martell does, which is surprising on most of their hits anyway. Let me jump ahead here and you'll hear Mark Martell. Does this sound familiar to you?
A little bit. Nah, I don't know it that well, but
this wasn't their biggest hit. It got some good radio play. Here is their biggest hit. If you don't know this one, then you don't listen to Christian music, because this one was played pretty extensively. Let's see here. There we go. And this was a Christmas song, but it got played throughout the year because it was such a good song.
Follow the star to a place unexpected. Would you believe after all we've projected? A child in a manger, lowly and small.
I can't stop hearing Freddie Mercury sing this song.
It's amazing, isn't it? Now, even before he auditioned, people would hear this and go, "Guy sounds just like Freddie Mercury." And so I worked in Christian music. We would hear that all the time. Who is that? That sounds like Freddie Mercury. Go ahead and go up just a little bit for the chorus here. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was probably their biggest hit, which was kind of unintentional because it's a Christmas song. I don't know that they intended it to be their most
right.
their legacy, but that's what it was. So the story goes that in 2011, Mark Martell decided, okay, well, I'm going to try out for Queen. And if this guy gets the job for Queen, I can't see them ever having a different lead singer.
Right.
He's so on it. And I'll play another clip here in a minute just to show you a different song of how well he does. And he sounds exactly like Freddie Mercury. And his range, Freddie Mercury's famous for having a enormously wide range. Mark Martell has the same range. So it's not just that he vocally sounds like him, it's that he can nail the parts. Very impressive. So what happened was, in 2011, they decided to do this contest. Mark Martell throws that video up there, and people are like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. He already had a little bit of a following because he had the Christian music background. Mm-hmm. So he jumps to the top of the voting on this instantly. And even people who didn't know him from down here went, man, that guy's really good. Well, it turns out what it looks like is that Queen had kind of an idea who was already going to win this thing.
Sneaky snakes.
This is in 2011 at the peak, or at least in the peak seasons of American Idol.
Yeah.
Guess who they had try out ahead of time, knowing that he was going to have a ton of support from everybody who loved American Idol.
Adam Lambert.
And of course, if you know the end of the story, Adam Lambert gets the job. Mm-hmm. So they were really concerned because they're like, oh, shoot, this is backfiring. Because you figure if you throw Adam Lambert up there, nobody else is going to have enough of a name to overcome the American Idol success. And he was fresh off of it. I think he had only been...
That was right in that time.
Yeah, maybe a year or two later at the most. I mean, he still had a pretty big name. And maybe was even touring on his own. So Adam Lambert loses the vote to Mark Martell. So now Queen's in a position where they go, oh no, what are we going to do? Because they acknowledge this guy sounds just like Freddie Mercury. In fact, way more than Adam Lambert does. And that's not to say Adam Lambert's not a good singer. He is a good singer.
Right.
But he's no Freddie Mercury. And that guy is Freddie Mercury pretty much. So they decide, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sort of like tell everybody that, well, we were going to, I think this is what they did. Well, we were going to take the top 3 that you voted for and then pick for ourselves, which they never really said ahead of time. But then once it became obvious that Adam Lambert wasn't going to win the vote, they sort of changed the rules without ever identifying what the rules were. And they picked Adam Lambert and went on to do this big world tour. And I think Adam Lambert actually stayed with them for a long, long time. I don't know if he still sings for them. I think they've got somebody else now, which they are apt to do. Every 5-10 years, they'll switch up the singer. But this would have been a huge break for Mark Martell. And if you know anything about the music business, you'll know that one of the reasons that if you switch over to any music station in the last 10 years, you don't hear a lot of bands. You hear a lot of artists. And the reason for that is that the way the money is set up is that if you want to own the publishing rights, because you're probably not going to own much else. You write the song, and then even if you write the song, let's say Garth Brooks comes to you and goes, hey, I heard you at this honky tonk singing this really cool song. I would like to sing that on my next record. Well, Garth Brooks or whoever, I'm not trashing him, is probably going to say, but my name is so big and it's going to launch your song that I actually want you to give me the publishing rights to that too. Well, then it's up to you. Do you want to give this huge artist your publishing rights so that you can actually have a song that gets big? You probably won't make any money off of it, but you'll be at least more famous. You'll have the notoriety. But that's the only way that artists make money. Well, when you have a band, the publishing rights are probably getting split between 3 or 4 people.
Right.
And that's why you see artists now who don't share the publishing. They just say, well, it's my song. And if somebody else comes to me with a song, I'll take it if I like it, but you got to give me the publishing rights. Otherwise, I won't make any money. And little guy never makes any money.
Right.
So even bands like, let's say 21 Pilots, that sounds like a whole bunch of people. It's actually 2 guys.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to make money. Well, Down Here was in that situation where they were, I think, 4 people. The main 2 singers were probably the main writers, but they weren't exclusive to the writing. So it just gets to that point where a lot of these artists, you hear the band, 10th Avenue North, for instance. Well, then it becomes just the lead singer on his own because they can't financially make it for long enough. And that's the way the whole industry is just set up. And it always has been that way, but even more so now because labels struggle to make a living. So they're taking more and more from these artists.
Right.
So the contract up front is getting worse and worse. And so they got to at least have the publishing. So Down Here's in that situation. Long story is Mark Martell is going, well, if we're not able to make Down Here work, then what's my career going to be? Hence, I'm going to try out for Queen.
Right.
He's on the verge of becoming the next Freddie Mercury and slapped down. He doesn't get it. So the story ends very, very well, though, because the movie, the biopic about Freddie Mercury, you said you've seen it.
I've seen it, yeah.
What's it called?
I think, what is it called?
The Freddie Mercury movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name. You said the actor's name, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, the Rami Malek is the actor.
That's a really good movie.
You saw it too?
Yeah. What is it
Because I haven't
called?
seen it, and I need to. Well, that movie, in the production of the movie.
It's called Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody. When they were making the film, they said, Rami Malek looked a lot like Freddie Mercury for the bulk of that movie, is from the trailer anyway, from what I saw. But they needed somebody to be a voice double. Well, they looked back at the audition tapes.
Oh!
They found Mark Martell singing in those auditions, and he did a few others. And here's another one. This one's not quite as long, but I wanted to pull it up just because it's Bohemian Rhapsody. This is just him and a piano.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, isn't it?
He hits that vibrato perfectly.
It's fantastic. And so they went back, they saw not only his audition tape, but these other tapes that he had done just for fun. And they went, oh my gosh, we got to get this guy. So if you go and you watch Bohemian Rhapsody, most of the time that you hear singing, and it's not actual Queen recordings, because I understand they use quite a bit, as much as they could, of actual Queen recordings. When it's not, it's Mark Martel singing on the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Cool. It's a very, very cool story, and I just wanted to share that, partially because, in this market, for some reason, St. Louis, a big Christian music market, these bands would come through all the time back when I was at Joy FM, and we'd meet them all the time. And I don't remember in particular meeting Mark Martel, but I'm sure I did. And then to see this, and it still pops up. That was just on some pop music blog the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Mark Martel. And I had the full story, and I thought it was a really good story. Wanted to share that. Hope you enjoyed it. So we have more good stuff coming up next. Now, as if that wasn't good, but we'll talk some politics. I got a couple stories that I do want to bring up that we haven't talked about yet this hour. More Annie Frey Show with the rest of the team. Annie's got the day off. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Bucks barely down the street with the brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of speed. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip to the sound of the beat. Yeah. Another one bites the dust.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brinton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brinton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brintonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brinton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brintonvision.com.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. That Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, Cash back at participating convenience stores, too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there.
You gotta keep them separated.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find a podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Brad loves The Offspring. As much as Queen?
Not as much as Queen.
The Offspring is no Queen.
No.
I know somebody who, at the height of Offspring's popularity, which was what, 1997?
Something like that.
Something like that?
Mid-high school.
They got a giant tattoo on their calf.
Oh, no.
The Offspring. And have had to live with it ever since.
Oh, man. That's like those people who get like the Super Bowl champs, you know, for the year at the beginning of the season and their team doesn't even make the playoffs.
The band. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you could get a worse band, but I don't know. Somebody who's so stuck in time.
Yeah.
Offspring did have a little bit longer career, so it's,
yeah.
You know, you could come up with somebody funny.
Now, I am not like a tattoo person. I would never get a tattoo, but I understand when people do get tattoos, but I would think you would want a tattoo that had some sort of like deep meaning to
Ryan,
it.
I feel like you have a secret tattoo.
He
like
does.
A big
It's on his lower back.
eagle on your back or something.
It's not a secret. Yeah, I've talked about my tattoo. It's a dolphin jumping over a horizon into a gulf. There's a rainbow in its trail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on my lower back.
We have talked about this on air before.
We have. It's big. I want to talk about at least one political thing this hour because we haven't.
Okay. Instead of
dolphin
lower
tattoos.
back
Dolphin tattoos and Queen and whatever we did in the first segment. I don't remember. Oh,
Baseball.
we did baseball. That's right. This piqued my interest because of the way that it was framed than the clip itself. You're not going to hear on this show, I don't think. I mean, we could ask Annie. She's been around. I don't know if she's still in the chat right now. She's going to a basketball tournament today, so everything's fine. A scheduled day off. She'll be back on Monday. I don't know that we've played a lot of George Soros on this show.
We have not.
Partially because George Soros is difficult to understand, but also because ew.
Ew.
He has a very thick accent.
I'm going to play a clip here from George Soros. Excuse me. Now, let me set this up before I play it, though. The way that this is being framed is by, I would have to figure, Trump supporters, but I don't know for sure, saying, listen to this clip. This is George Soros endorsing Ron DeSantis in 2024. Now, I'm immediately skeptical that you would ever hear that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that dude is ever going to endorse a Republican.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, he funds a lot of far, far left Democrats. I mean, so far left that they're not even Democrats anymore.
Right.
They are social anarchists in a way, including the one right here at the Circuit Attorney's office in St. Louis. So when I play this clip, tell me if you think this sounds like George Soros endorsing Ron DeSantis. And then we'll talk about the possible implications of what he's trying to do in this clip. Of course, you're going to have to pay attention and listen closely because he's got a thick accent.
My hope for 2024 is that Trump and Governor DeSantis of Florida will slug it out for the Republican nomination. Trump has turned into a pitiful figure, continually bemoaning his loss in 2020. Big Republican donors are abandoning him in droves. DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. He is likely to be a Republican candidate.
Okay, the key quote that's coming out of that is DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. And they're saying, well, that is him endorsing DeSantis.
Right, and it combines that with what he said about Trump being, what do you call him, petulant or...
Yeah, and basically losing money in donors and things and being on the outs. Now, he starts the clip by saying that he hopes that Trump and DeSantis duke it out in the 2024 primary. So obviously, this guy is super politically shrewd. He has the money to back it up. He knows what he's doing. He achieves goals with his money that are awful, but extremely effective. He knows what he's doing. What do you think he's doing here, Brad? I mean, do you have an idea of what he's attempting to do?
Well, he's stirring up a fight. He's trying to get the primary and the Republican primary as nasty as he can get it, so he can get at least one group. Like, initially I was listening to it, I was like, maybe he wants them to come out bloodied on the other side so they get beat by Biden. But I think what he's actually trying to do is trying to split the Republican Party and get them to fight so much that one side, whichever side loses, just won't show up.
Do you think he's trying to draw DeSantis into the fight for that reason? We already know Trump's running. Do you think that he's trying to bait DeSantis in and saying things that are, mostly positive? I mean, he says ruthless. That's not positive, but in politics it can be.
I don't think I think DeSantis has already made up his mind. So I don't think Soros would think that he needs to bait him in. I think Soros can see the writing on the wall that DeSantis is going to get in. And he's just trying to do what he can to ensure that his guy, who isn't one of these two guys that he talked about right here, wins the general.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a headline right behind your head, Brad, that says that Haley is taking jabs at DeSantis and his parental rights law. Based on George Soros here, obviously the guy is a major, major political player in the world, let alone the United States. Does it look like DeSantis is the front runner based on these things?
Well, he's not even in the race yet, and people are already trying to take him down.
Yeah,
because
that's
they
what I
know
mean.
he's that strong.
That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. He's the front runner. He's probably the favorite. If he's not the favorite, he's the biggest threat outside of whoever is the threat. If Donald Trump is the favorite, Ron DeSantis is Donald Trump's biggest threat. So that would explain why he's doing it. But Nikki Haley going after him tells me that maybe Ron DeSantis is the biggest threat. If you stop and think about it, though, which one is going to probably be the most appealing? Like, if you have your choice between Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis, which one are you voting for?
Well,
easily DeSantis.
Doesn't this, of course, but doesn't this play into our, semi-on-air discussion about Haley playing to running for VP more than president?
Yeah, because if only 3 of them are in there, she might split the DeSantis vote.
Well, this looks to me like if you start to see Haley taking shots at DeSantis but not Trump, doesn't it look like
it looks
she's
a lot more like that,
predestined to be trying to get the VP nomination with Trump?
Yeah, that's exactly what it would look like, because, again, that's like her getting into the race, Donald Trump giving her the blessing. That would set it up to where, like, you look, it's a 3-way race. Who is she more likely to pull voters from? The DeSantis camp or the Trump camp? Well, there's no way the Trump people are going to vote for Nikki Haley. They think she's a traitor because she got into the race and she owes Donald Trump something or other. So if she pulls votes from one of those two and it's only the three, she's more likely to pull those votes off of a DeSantis, which if you're talking a couple points in a heated primary, that's enough to throw it one way or the other.
It is. And a lot of people chiming in online about this. Thanks for pulling that up, right? As I said that, Hannah. JC saying they are all so scared of DeSantis. Just above that, G-Wib saying, I think Soros is afraid of Trump running, so playing up DeSantis. These are different points of view. I appreciate that. There was another one down there that I wanted to highlight. Michael Goodsell says, DeSantis Haley ticket. Mark my words. I don't know. I mean, I can't say no, but I don't see that happening. One more item to share with you before we hit the top of the hour here. Sarah Palin is weighing in on this topic.
Yes. Let's hear what Sarah has to say.
Sarah Palin on the 2024 race says DeSantis should stay governor. Former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin said on Tuesday that she thinks Florida Governor Ron DeSantis should stay governor for the time being as he continues to attract speculation about a 2024 presidential bid. DeSantis doesn't need to run, she said. I envision him as our president someday, but not right now. Does Sarah Palin have any pull with you, Brad? Range?
No. As a matter of fact, if she does, it's because I look at her and go, "Oh, that's terrible political advice. I will do the opposite."
What's funny is that Matt Walsh basically said the same thing. He goes, and he's very in the bag for DeSantis. It's so funny to watch these right-wing personalities kind of take sides right now. And we've done polls before that said, do you need to? The overwhelming answer is no, you don't really have to take a side right now, but you can. It's up to you. But he said, why would I listen to Sarah Palin, who hasn't won an election in 17 years? Which, thinking back, I think he may have been hyperbolizing a little bit, but I can't remember elections she's won since she was in Alaska.
Yeah, since she was the governor.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why Palin thinks she could have won another seat in the last election and didn't. Her star has fallen far, and it's got to be because of all the shenanigans and reality TV.
Yeah.
Although that's the world that Trump came from, and here we are talking about him running again.
I loved Celebrity Apprentice with Trump.
Did you?
I loved that show. I remember watching that when I was very little.
Was that You Fired? Is that that show?
Yes. You fired.
Yeah.
Because that I never watched.
Sound like a flapper.
Well,
you fired, Johnny.
You confused me with your hand signal. I don't think you went like this.
What did he do?
More on the table.
Oh, you pointed it down?
Yes.
You fired.
That's a good way to wrap up the hour.
I can tell you,
the fact
I've
that
never
we might be fired now.
ever watched Celebrity Apprentice. Never have, never will. Remember when they were trying to get the producer of that show to give him dirt? And he's like, I'm not going to give you dirt on Donald Trump. I don't have any. And he was a pretty good guy.
Maybe I liked the show so much because I was little and I don't remember it.
Maybe. Yeah, it stunk. But for kids, hey, it was great. We'll be right back.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Court appearance for accused former cops. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. 5 former Memphis police officers have entered not guilty pleas to second-degree murder, kidnapping, and other charges stemming from the death of Tyree Nichols.
Blake Ballin is the attorney for former officer Desmond Mills Jr. and says the legal system must make sure the officers don't face injustice.
This is a country where black people are incarcerated at 5 times the rate of white people.
Attorney Ben Crump represents Nichols' family and says while he believes the officers should have their day in court, he doesn't want delays in the case.
When people in our community do something on video, it don't take a long time to prosecute them, right, Attorney Turner? That's right. It don't take a long time.
The next court date is set for May.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Officials have tested wells that supply water for East Palestine, Ohio, as residents are concerned about air and water quality in the wake of a chemical release from a derailed train.
Testing those 5 wells that go into the community system. Those 5 wells have all come back clean. The water is safe to drink.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says air quality tests also showed no danger to the public. President Biden's doctor says the 80-year-old remains fit for duty following his physical exam yesterday at Walter Reed.
He has an irregular heartbeat, acid reflux, allergies, and arthritis, but they are all kept in check. And also a small lesion on his chest was sent off for biopsy.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Rescuers have pulled more survivors from the debris of the February 6th earthquake that devastated parts of Turkey and Syria, even as the window for finding people alive is closing fast. The number of dead in both countries is now over 43,000. That number is expected to rise as more bodies are recovered. America is listening to Fox News.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Below average temperatures are back for our Friday afternoon. 38 for the high today. Lots of sunshine out there, though, and the winds aren't too bad. Clear and cold tonight, 25. On to the 3-day weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, windy, and chilly. 54 the high. That wind will make it nippy to be out and about. Sunday, sunny and 58. Monday, President's Day, partly sunny, 55. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you are looking for a customized storage solution for a place in your home, I want you to check out this St. Louis business. The Frey family loves what the Closet Factory has been able to do for us, and I can't wait to hear what they are able to do for you. Food pantries, kitchen storage, figuring out a way to make sure that the space that comes, a lot of times like the builder's grade pantry or maybe the builder's grade master closet. Okay, you got the wire shelves in there, but what else can you do? When the Closet Factory came in and helped us with our master closet that I share with my husband, they were able to use all of the vertical space. And honestly, at this point, there's more storage in there than we're actually been able to use. And we've been able to eliminate a piece of furniture from our bedroom because of the storage space that was created in that master closet without moving walls, without, any addition. It's right there. Maximize it with the experts at customized storage solution that is unique to your needs. It's the Closet Factory. They've helped me. I hope they'll help you as well. You can visit them and learn more at closetfactory.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Have you always dreamed of a lush green lawn? Get that beautiful curb appeal without the hassle by calling Professional Irrigation Systems. They'll install your new automatic lawn sprinkler system and give you a variety of options and warranties. Don't spend half your day lugging a hose around watering your lawn. Let Professional Irrigation Systems do the work for you. They offer spring activations, backflow testing, mid-season tune-ups, and winterization. Call the pros that have been in business for 20 years. Professional Irrigation Systems. Online at proirrigation.com.
Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
22 years of questioning the narrative. Thanks for making 97.1 FM Talk your home for conservative talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
Like, you need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, I don't really know how to come in from that when it's Friday and I'm hosting.
You sounded so sad. This is the Annie Frey Show. And you're like, oh. Yeah.
When I'm the sidekick, it's fun. I can do whatever I want. I'm like the little brother. Now I feel like mom's gone and I got to take care of the household.
Now I got to cook you guys dinner.
I got to make dinner. I got to clean up. I don't want to do all that stuff.
I like sushi, so get to it.
I am not going to
I
make
don't like sushi,
you.
so.
See,
yeah.
what
so
am
you
I
got to make
supposed
Hannah
to do?
something else.
I got to make you chicken strips. And I got to make you hot dogs.
She likes chicken nuggies, dino nuggies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the sound.
This is the Annie Frey Show. This is the majority of the Annie Frey Show still here. And it is a Friday at 2 o'clock. Usually this is where we get crazy. But guess what? We're not going to get crazy. We're going to do the exact opposite. Because what we always do is just the exact opposite. We're going to keep things super bland. It's going to be a very boring hour. You're going to hate it.
The Annie Frey Show milquetoast version. Brought to you by Ryan Wiggins. Let's see if you can pull this one off.
Jeez.
That'd be fun. If that was an assignment, I think I might have fun with it. I don't know that I'd be able to do it.
Just get an entire segment like NPR.
With the music bumps where they go into.
And you're just talking like this.
And you just talk low and you say, and you're not going to believe this. Well, I can't even say that. That's too extreme.
Yeah.
You'd have to say, and another thing that has just come in from our Wisconsin branch. It's always the affiliate in Wisconsin. And here's so-and-so. And then they go into some beat.
I'm about to tune out of our own show.
You should do it. Get out of here. Everybody should get out of here, because here is the poll. And I don't know if you're going to be able to decide. It's a very, very difficult one, in my opinion. But it is, from which show member would you most likely seek counsel? And as Hannah asked, what does that mean? It means that if you were in need of counseling, which show member would you seek out? Not necessarily, which one of us would you actually DM on Twitter?
Yeah, shoot me a DM.
But if, if you feel like you know us and we were all in the same room and you...
Basically, who would you lean on?
Who would you turn to?
Yeah, and we're not even going to define, because we left it intentionally vague for a reason. We're not even going to define what kind of counsel you would be seeking.
Right. Yeah, you could be seeking legal counsel if you wanted to.
Which one of the Annie Frey Show members do you go to for legal advice?
And that's up to you. It doesn't have to be.
That should be next week's poll. And we're not putting Brad Young on there either, because we know he'd win.
Clearly. So I figured we could start by making our case.
Okay.
If you wanted to do that, Brad, I think you should.
You want me to lead off?
I do.
Well, then everybody else is they're just going to vote for me when I'm done. You guys don't want to go first?
No, I'll lead off.
Hannah's like, I got this.
Okay, so once again, the poll question is asking, from which show member would you most likely seek counsel? Hannah, Ryan, Annie, or Brad? When people come to me for counseling, I feel like I am the type of person and friend who gives tough love back. I'm waiting for my mom and my sisters to text me, because they're definitely going to agree that that's true. I feel like I like to just state facts and be supportive, but also give tough love.
That's good. Tough love is always needed in these counseling sessions, because you need somebody to speak truth to you, but do it in a loving way.
Set you straight.
So somebody comes to you and you just start spouting facts. America became a nation in 1776.
No, not facts. Tough love. She doesn't tell you what you want to hear. She tells you what you need to hear.
Right.
Okay, and how do you differ from that? Because I figured that would be you and Annie would say all of that.
Well, the thing about it is like, of the show members, that's literally part of my job. I'm a youth minister. I have to counsel kids as they're going through different things and talk them through that and work with them on that.
Landslide vote.
The other thing about that is, the other side is that I have to actually work with parents in my job and try to help them understand what it is that their child is needing and what it is they need to do as a parent. So whenever you're a youth minister, you're not ministering just to youth, you're ministering to whole families. So it gives me a range of I don't want to say expertise, but a range of groups that I have ministered to in the past, which translates to counseling pretty well. So it's part of my job. That's why I would vote for me. You're also going to get a lot of solid biblical advice. And like Hannah, I'm not going to pull any punches. I will sugarcoat them. I will sand the corners off so they don't cut you, but I'm going to give you the truth.
That is also what Annie would do. So
Annie's tough love too.
Hannah, Brad, and Annie all would give you tough love. I, however, would tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Which isn't love at all.
It is pure saccharin. So if you're in a place where you're just hurting and you don't want real help, you just want to feel better in the moment, I'd say vote for me.
Ryan, honestly, I seek that sometimes.
Right?
I haven't voted in the poll yet, but you might have just swung my vote, because sometimes you just want someone to either distract you or just, heal you in the moment.
I kind of feel bad for saying that now because I don't know that I would actually do that, but I understand what you're saying.
You definitely, without even realizing it. Like, if I have a bad day, I know if I walk into your office, I'm going to leave smiling, because I'm going to see something in there, or just hear
you're going to say something.
Yeah, something's just going to happen. And
well, then I will go with that all the way.
But really, though, people should vote for Brad, because Brad gives the best advice, and you give tough love, but you do sand the edges, which is important. I need to work on my delivery mechanisms for giving advice, because sometimes I pack a punch a little too hard. Sorry,
This
my
seems
sisters.
like it's going to be a fight between Brad and Annie to me.
Yes.
On the actual poll results.
I know it's going to be very bad if I can't win against somebody who's not here.
And it's not even, ever since the first hour, I think she had to log off. Maybe she had the game. She was at a basketball
The
tournament.
poll is it's pretty split right now.
Oh, you can see the results?
Yes, I can see the results. It's pretty split right now. So make sure you go on our Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote so we can have a definite winner. But once again, the poll question is asking, from which show member would you most likely seek counsel? Hannah, Annie, Ryan, or Brad?
While you're there voting in the poll, continue to listen because I have a situation for you. It's that's a what would you do situation. Would you go with any of us for counsel? Here's a what would you do situation. But unfortunately, this one is very, very real. And it's the approach that I've been taking to this story the whole time.
Everybody that came here expects a hell of a lot more than what we're getting right now.
Frustration, anger, and unanswered questions in East Palestine, Ohio.
Are my kids safe? Are the people safe? Is the future of this community safe?
The mayor leading the meeting, at times speaking through a bullhorn to answer questions from distressed residents, still worried about returning to their homes, despite evacuation orders being lifted last week.
The railroad did us wrong. So far, they've worked with us and they're fixing it. But if that stops, I will guarantee you I will be the first one in line to fight that.
If I am in East Palestine, Ohio, which could be that looks just like one of the suburbs around here. I mean, really, it could be any of us. If that happened to your community, I just keep thinking, there's a lot of political finger pointing right now for sure. There's a lot of blame to go around. I'm not saying there's not. But ultimately, what I keep coming back to is, what do you do? What happens now that there is apparently this contamination? And if you're sitting in that town, your roots are there, your family's there, your kids go to school there, your house is there, you're part of the basketball team there. What in the world do you do? This isn't a short-term problem. You can evacuate for a couple weeks maybe, but what do you do?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of questions there. I don't think I'm still living there.
But all your money's there, your house and everything.
But what do you do with that stuff? Does your insurance cover it? Can your insurance cover it? Will your insurance cover it? Who pays for it? It's absolutely not unreasonable to say, hey, look, there was a toxic chemical issue in this area, and I don't want to live here anymore. That's 1,000% legit, and I think that's a route a lot of people would take. But if the EPA or the governor or whoever's coming out saying that everything is okay, you don't have to worry about it, there's no way an insurance company is going to cover it. They're like, you don't have to move. But you're also not going to be able to throw your house on the market, and some person that's been watching the news in the past.
Nobody's looking to move
like,
there.
Oh, dude, I'm totally there. You might find a couple people like, these house prices are so cheap.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, it's not exactly like the most desirable. Nobody's going, where I really want to go because it's so beautiful is Eastern Ohio.
What was that? There's a local community years ago, and there was something about toxic spillage, and they just had to move the whole community.
Yes.
What is it?
I don't know.
Someone in the live chat will know.
Yeah.
Do you think they've ever had to move an entire community because of toxic masculinity?
No. There was some sort of it was like dioxin or something like that. I can't remember the name.
No, I don't remember this. But this is a situation that it's literally happening before our eyes. I mean, if it weren't for the image that we saw, I don't even know if we'd really be talking about this as extensively as we are. But watching they're actually playing them right now. This has been a great day. Every time we talk about a topic, Fox News picks it up. They must be listening to
Times
us.
Beach.
Okay, where is that?
That is in Missouri. I'm looking it up right now. It was closed due to contamination. It was
like
the
a
Times
creek, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
people chiming in online saying the same thing. Times Beach.
It was.
Yeah, dioxins in Times Beach.
Yeah, it was like 40 years ago.
Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
So just barely within my lifetime and not yours. No, I did not know about that story. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's out near Eureka.
This is unfolding before our eyes. And what the problem is who do you trust? Because everybody's giving you different messages right now. I mean, beyond the long-term what do I do with my house? Am I going to keep living here? Because that's definitely a question you're going to have to answer.
Right.
But even in the short term, let's say you've evacuated and maybe you can stay with a family member for a month or two, but at some point you have a house and a life in your community. You're going to have to go back and at least deal with what you're going to do long term in the short term. And I don't know who I would be listening to, because everybody, the EPA, FEMA's not really stepping in. That's been a problem of its own.
FEMA's not stepping in. You know, there's not leadership from the federal government. Mike DeWine, who's the governor of Ohio, is trying to do something. J.D. Vance, to his credit, is going down there and he's looking out for his constituents.
Yeah,
which I think is why people put him in office, because they knew that he'd be fighting for him. You're getting conflicting reports from the EPA and other
saying
you
it's
just
fine.
don't know what the answers are. And people in that clip that you played, that's what people are saying. What is going on?
What are we supposed to do? Yeah, and there's no quick solution to this. This isn't great talk radio, because usually if you see a problem and you can identify it and go, here's what they should be doing, and that's a discussion you can have. This isn't that. There is no clear solution to this problem. But the one thing that I do see that I'm like, okay, that is a problem, is that there are conflicting messages across the board.
Yes.
And if your governor, and this is bipartisan, I'm not trying to like rag on a party here. The governor of Ohio is a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So is J.D. Vance. He's the senator from Ohio. They are saying very different things now.
J.D. Vance has come out and said, I would drink the bottled water. And
I bottled water.
I don't know if it was the governor or a representative that's like, no, the water's fine, and then they drink a cup of the water.
Yeah, well, and Mike DeWine is saying that, the governor.
Yeah.
He's saying it's fine. And because I think he's trying to listen to the EPA, who's saying it's all fine. Meanwhile, here's J.D. Vance. I played this at the top of the show, but I'm going to play it again.
Hey, guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there are dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. So, something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here? And let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
You said you haven't seen that video, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen the video of it.
Hannah, you haven't seen that video?
I haven't seen the video either.
So there are videos like it, but I pulled that one from J.D. Vance just because he's the senator and you know who he is. The other people, you don't know who they are. He is standing in a creek bed. It's a pretty wide creek. And he just picks up a stick, and he's standing on a kind of a dry spot, but there's the creek kind of running around him. He just drags the stick through the bed. So if you stick it in the water, you can't really see anything.
Right.
But if you drag it through the bed of the creek, colors start to come up, and you can see. Have you ever stood at a gas station
with that oily?
Yeah.
And there's a puddle near you where drops of gasoline have gotten into.
Rainbow.
And you can see that sheen, and it's kind of rainbow colored. That's the creek.
Oh.
A creek is moving water.
Mm-hmm.
Moving water, if you had something in it that was just there and it was moving, it would go away. This is now in the soil of the water. It's not leaving. You can go at any time of day, apparently, and do exactly what J.D. Vance was doing, and that gasoline-looking chemical stuff rises to the top, which means it's in all the water. The fish are dead. The worms are dead. And people are telling you, drink the water.
That is horrific.
That is unbelievable. I mean, how can these people be that blind to be able... And maybe they're using sophisticated blah, 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 and they're not trying to lie to you. I don't know. But if you're looking at a bunch of dead fish in a creek bed and you're able to drag the bed and see the chemicals come out, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Look at it and do something about it. I think this almost more speaks to the problem of government than it does anything. That the government is so big, they're so bloated. You get people who are really they're experts in name, and then that you put them on the ground, and what are they doing?
Yeah. This is, like you said, so big, so bloated. Part of the bureaucracy. People get positions not because of competency, but because of favors done and whatnot. But like the other side of this is too, we've become so reliant on the federal government to do everything rather than having local governments help, that whenever something like this happens, the local government just isn't equipped. And if the federal government, which we've seen from this administration, doesn't react fast, same thing with the balloon, they don't react fast, you don't have anywhere to go because you haven't, all of your abilities or whatever are reliant on them mobilizing. Like you're waiting for FEMA to show up and do something with emergency management and stuff like that, and you don't have a local or a state-sized thing to take care of it.
And I agree with you on that, and I actually would agree with that most of the time. I think this one is unique, though, because it's so specialized that you're not going to have a chemical department in your town necessarily. Maybe in your state you might, but not that local.
But you should have some sort of plan outside of, well, let's wait and see what the federal government says.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's what the EPA is supposed to be for. I mean, that's what you pay taxes into. And these people are supposed to be the experts that you defer to. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those situations where I'm notoriously, so are you, very skeptical of everything all the time. And skeptical, especially when the government experts are telling me anything. This is one of those situations where I would hope that I didn't have to be skeptical. I wouldn't hope that the EPA is in on something. You just hope that they're going to show up and say, well, here's a disaster response that we have to respond to. But you don't even know if you can trust them, not because of some sort of nefarious reasons, but because you don't know whether they know what they're doing.
Well, that's the thing, too. Never attribute to maliciousness that which can easily attributed to incompetence.
Well said.
That don't, like, this is incompetence. This isn't malicious. They're not out there. Like, I've seen the conspiracy theories out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a lot for me to be convinced that, they're trying to kill off this town for some reason.
Right.
This is incompetence.
Ultimately, back to the original question here of what do you do, though, if you live there? I mean, you're still caught amongst a whole lot of voices telling you a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You can see with your eyes that there's a problem, and you don't know whether it's a short-term problem or it's a long-term problem. Is this the BP oil spill that everybody was going to say, this is going to be generational, and then within a year it was okay?
Yeah.
But still, even a year, if that's disrupting your town and your life, that's a long, long time. Well, I'm Ryan Wiggins. This is the full crew, minus Annie, who's just off today. She'll be back on Monday. This is the Annie Frey Show, and we will be right back.
Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby.
Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the Bagel Loan Guy. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie is there to make sure that your home purchase goes quickly and smoothly, and of course that you get the house that you're putting the offer in on. Right now, there are some things that are going to be put into place. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac putting in something that's going to cause fees to go up a little bit later in the spring, which means right now is a good time to get in there and make that offer. When you see that rates have gone down, mortgage rates have come down, folks, and you understand that it might be time to get in there, jump in, and make the offer, you want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. Stewie sets up the whole thing so that you have the best possible buying experience using Stewart's American Mortgage. You can generate pre-approval letters right there on his website. You don't have to wait for somebody to provide it for you. You get pre-approved to a certain amount, and then you can generate those letters based on the offers you're looking to make. If you are looking to put in an offer and you want to save on closing costs, there's no better place to do than Stewie because they don't exist. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Kevin Mack talks with Matt Hardy.
There's nothing like a wrestling fan, for better or for worse. How do you handle that, though? We're talking about people talking about your family, what they don't know about your family or your brother or you. How does one handle that from a day-to-day basis?
Something I joke about with the Young Bucks all the time. I said, if you would vanity search Matt Hardy on Twitter, I said, after you got through 100 replies, you're going to quit the business and never be seen again. It's just, you just learn to deal with it. You know what I mean?
It's the Kick Rocks Wrestling Podcast with Evan T. Mack. Subscribe now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
If you need a new bath or shower in the new year, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or zero interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
That's deep, and it is a big fly!
Cardinals single game tickets for the 2023 season are on sale now and start at just $6. The schedule is filled with great matchups, including weekend series with the Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, and more. The promo schedule is packed with fan favorites too, like jerseys, bobbleheads, legendary player tributes, and so much more. There's something for everyone in the 2023 season. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Arenado swings. He hits it a mile. Left field. It's a gunner.
Cardinals theme tickets are on sale now, and the 2023 lineup looks better than ever. Backed by popular demand, check out returning favorites like Star Wars, Margaritaville, Grateful Dead, Boy Band Night, St. Louis Blues Night, Teachers and Nurses, Don't Miss Friends Night, Shark Week, Sesame Street, and more. For a complete list of all the 2023 theme nights, visit cardinals.com/theme.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you clearly have a refined palate. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
That's dance counts, right? Dance counts.
That dance counts. Do we have 100 likes?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let me look really quick.
We have 96 viewers.
Oh.
We have 88 likes, I
Ooh.
see.
12 more.
Annie promised, as she's apt to do,
on behalf of Ryan,
on behalf of me, that I would have to do something like dance like a Muppet if we reached 100 likes.
Muppet? I don't think that was the wording.
Well, she said the Charleston.
I would love to see you dance to the Muppet song.
Oh, I can dance like a Muppet like there's no tomorrow. The Charleston's going to be tough.
That's an actual dance.
Do you guys remember when I forgot to switch out the bump music for an important guest and it was the Mahamana song?
Yeah, wasn't that for the possible Attorney General of Illinois? Was that one?
No, I think it was someone bigger than that. And it was it was like a big interview.
Like Ted Cruz or somebody.
Yeah,
like
and it was the Mahamana song. And Annie just like put her hand on her head, and I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot.
It was the same music as the day before,
Yes.
and it hadn't changed.
Yes.
I do remember that. I wish I could remember who it was.
I know.
So a little good news on the heels of that segment, which is just, it's sad. It really is. I mean, if you put yourself in that situation, which is easy to do because it's a Midwest city just like here. Mm-hmm. It's just a hard situation to figure out what to do if you were in it. Let's instead get a little good news.
The Diamond in the Rough, brought to you by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
All right, a South Carolina family raises over $262,000 for a 72-year-old Domino's employee who fell delivering pizzas.
Okay.
After witnessing a Domino's employee fall while delivering pizzas to their home earlier this month, a South Carolina family wanted to bless the hardworking woman who was about to retire by giving her a generous tip. Lacey and her family decided they were going to create a GoFundMe account to give the final tip for 72-year-old Barbara for as much exposure as possible. So basically, this woman was delivering pizzas and slipped and fell and hurt herself.
Oh, no.
And the guy who owned the house came out and helped her get up and everything. But she, I guess, was pleading that, she was about to retire and, this wasn't great. So the family posted a TikTok actually of the Ring camera footage of her falling, and that kind of gained some traction, and then they started a GoFundMe, and now it has over $262,000 for this woman.
$262,000. Do you know how bad did she hurt herself when she fell?
I don't know the exact details of that.
So I might be willing to make that fall if I knew that on the other side of it.
If you knew you were close to retirement.
I'd even do it on the Ring doorbell. I like that the family posted the video. Oh, we feel so sorry for you. Here, we're going to put it online. Although, I guess that's how you make the money.
Yeah, but they are still in contact with Barbara, so they made like a good friend out of this Domino's delivery worker.
You know what? Even more than just the goodwill of that story, the fact that she's 72 and still delivering pizzas, man, hats off.
I know.
That's awesome. You know, that's a big trend right now. It's actually one of the reasons that we've seen the unemployment numbers go down is because people who either were retired or had planned on retiring. Thanks for putting that up on the screen. Michael says Ryan's new retirement plan, a major injury. Hey, I'm not above it.
Ryan's all about pulling that disability.
Yeah, you're going to start wearing a neck brace to work.
No, I'm not. I don't want a fraud disability. You're projecting onto me here.
You want an actual disability.
I want people to look at me with terrible pity and then raise a bunch of money. That's what I want.
Mission accomplished.
The
All
money
they gotta
part
do is raise
the
the
money
money.
part isn't there yet. So yeah,
FTL makes a great comment. They said she was probably working a second job or came back after an unsuccessful retirement. Inflation is destroying people's retirement plans. That's true.
It's exactly right. It's one of the reasons that we have seen unemployment go down is because you have new people entering the market who weren't even counted in that number, who are driving the unemployment down because they have to go back to
They
work.
don't have another choice.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
No.
And that's what's so funny when you hear Biden, well, my job numbers. Look into your job numbers a little bit and realize what you've done to people.
Yeah, or don't, because you're not really worried about the job numbers. You're worried about looking good for the next election.
Oh, I think maybe you hit on a truth there. Maybe you should truth that out on Truth Social.
Truth that out on Truth Social.
Follow Brad on Truth Social, where apparently nobody but Donald Trump is. I do have a story here that's also, I would say, in the good news category. Although I'm going to dive into this thing, and we're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. Great Bigfoot Conference is about to begin. And here's what to expect.
Wait. Is this a Great Bigfoot Conference or a Great Bigfoot Conference?
You know what?
Yeah, I would. Big difference.
Based on
punctuation matters here, Ryan.
No, based on the way that it's written, I can't tell you because it's the first word of the sentence. So I can't tell you whether it's capitalized. It's just capitalized. I don't know whether it's the Great Bigfoot Conference or whether it's a Great Bigfoot Conference. I don't know. And obviously it makes a huge difference. Do you love blurry photos of a hairy creature mid-stride? Have you been in the woods and seen something you can't explain? There are real Bigfoot advocates who are going to get mad at me for reading this. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Then the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference could be for you.
It's even better that it's in Florida.
As it's
that's the skunk ape down there.
Oh, I read the story ahead of time, and I think he makes an appearance in it. As it is set to return this spring, the countdown has begun for the 9-hour conference. It's only one day, you guys. You can swing that. That's returning for its third annual event in Ocala, Florida on April 22nd.
That's where Annie really is.
I didn't say that, but it could be true. According to the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference's website, this year's event will feature an all-star lineup of Bigfoot researchers, investigators, and authors for event goers to speak with, to hear their findings and experiences with the mythical beast. I wonder if any of them have found it. Wouldn't that be amazing if one of them's like, I found him, and here's the carcass.
Well, they all have found him. They just take bad pictures of him. Or is it Mitch Hedberg? Like, maybe that's Bigfoot's problem. He is blurry.
Wouldn't that be?
Wouldn't he see him in real life? It's like he's out of focus.
Look, you go out hunting, and you're in the Yukon wilderness, and you shoot Bigfoot. You have killed the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the Yeti. The best way you could reveal that to the world is to show up at a paranormal conference with the body in a coffin and be like, look, I know you guys are writing your books, but I got the Bigfoot. He's right here. I got chains around his ankles.
Oh, man.
You know, I didn't think we'd be talking about this today.
It says
this
those
wasn't on my bingo card.
looking for more information on the least photogenic creature ever known will be able to attend the event as it is open to the public. But anyone who wants to make sure they can get in should purchase a ticket in advance, according to organizers who are expecting a big turnout.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that the Bigfoot conference would have a lot of people there.
Yeah, this whole cryptozoology thing has this like cult following. It's amazing how many people follow it.
Doesn't this speak to the human psyche?
I love it.
We need mystery.
I love everything about it.
I do too. I love it. Listen to this. Expedition Bigfoot's Ronnie LeBlanc is listed as a headliner for the event.
Whoa!
You guys,
he's Matt LeBlanc's lesser known brother.
That would be
This is
probably
like
more
Joey.
famous than this guy actually is. Ronnie LeBlanc's going to be there. He's the headliner for the event held at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a more sketchy name than Ron LeBlanc.
Listen to this. There's a guy in our chat named Ron LeBlanc who is just aghast right now. What did she say about me?
That sounds like a car
Dear
salesman
heavens.
that you shouldn't trust.
I won't be tuning into this program anymore.
Harumph,
Among
harumph.
the discussion points will be the skunk ape. Brad?
Yep, skunk ape.
Can you explain the skunk ape? I'm not really sure what this
Just
is.
Florida's Bigfoot.
Oh, that's it?
They call it the skunk ape because it has a skunk-like smell, is what the people say.
Is it real?
But it's
I
a
don't know.
Republican.
It's a Ron DeSantis voter. I know that. No,
if it's fake, wouldn't it be voting Democrat?
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what he put on his mail-in ballot.
He voted Green Party.
Like they
Save
keep
my forest.
They keep my forest alive. It's my home.
It says it's a creature believed to be the cousin of Bigfoot. So
Yeah.
we've got a whole hierarchy for these things, but nobody's got one.
Yeah, so there's like, yeah. How much Bigfoot like research or not research, but just have you looked into?
I was on the Dave Glover show for a while.
Oh, okay, so a lot.
A lot.
Then you know that there's like, they think that they're all different. Like there's theories that they're all different. It's the same species, just different locations.
That's the way I understand it.
Like the Yeti.
Yeah.
Bigfoot is like Northwest. Sasquatch is the Native American name that they used for it. And
the
then
abominable snowman would be a more northern version.
Right. And then they have the skunk ape, which is like, I've heard of it in Ohio and then Georgia and Florida in the south down there.
Stomping around in the swamps.
Stinking like a skunk.
But you don't get to see it. It's hidden somehow.
Just get to see the footprint.
It says that hundreds of reported sightings were documented in the 50s and 70s for some reason, not in the 60s, by Bigfoot Field Researchers organization ESPN WFL reported. Since 2010, the organization shared that 48 out of 67 counties in Florida have had a reported sighting, apparently, of the skunk ape. Last paragraph, however, whether or not the creatures truly exist remains a mystery. And the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference looks to dive deep into the possibility. So,
I'm not going to let us end this segment without saying whether or not you think that Bigfoot is real or not.
I love the idea that he could be. I really hope that Bigfoot is real. I really do. I'm rooting for Bigfoot.
I kind of want Bigfoot to be real too. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, I'm here for Bigfoot.
But what do you think is real?
The proof is in the pudding. You know how I love pudding metaphors. The proof is in there, and I haven't seen it yet. I need somebody to shoot Bigfoot and show up at the conference.
I actually think that there's laws against that.
I don't know that I would want him shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you don't have to shoot him, but you got to capture him. I mean, walk up and get some really good video of him, you know?
Stand still, pose.
Yeah.
Selfie.
I don't care. Get a selfie with Bigfoot.
Show me that smile.
Yeah. I'm here for Bigfoot, and I hope he shows up at the conference.
You?
I wish Bigfoot were real.
I wish they were all real. I wish the Loch Ness Monster was real. I wish Chupacabra was real.
I don't want megalodons to be out in the ocean, though.
Oh. I kind of I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
Missouri has Momo. I haven't heard of Momo.
Oh, you know what? I have heard of Momo, but I don't know what it is. Can somebody get in the chat and remind us what Momo is? Is it a water monster or is it a land monster?
I thought Momo was a water monster.
Is it an Ozarks monster?
Might be.
Ryan, I do have some news for you. We
Great.
have over 100 likes, so get your dancing shoes on.
In the break, I'm going to do the...
Oh, no, I think we're going to make a special video of this.
No. This is just a daily goal. I'll do something in the break, I promise. I don't know what it's going to be, and it'll probably be terrible. And
So tune into it.
so tune in, and I'll make sure that it's not lit well. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
When you have an electrical emergency, call Reinhold Electric right away. They answer their phone 24 hours a day to make sure they can get your power on and stay on as quickly as possible. If you are planning some changes, maybe you're doing a remodel or maybe building brand new, Reinhold Electric works with residential, commercial, and industrial. Having a small electrical issue with your house or maybe your electric panel, call on Reinhold Electric to come inspect it. Their number 314-631-1158, online at reinholdelectric.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $900 in utility rebates and see if you qualify for 0% financing on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Friday afternoon, we'll take you into the weekend with a Reardon Roundtable. Jane will be here, former Illinois Congressman Rodney Davis, and former Missouri congressional candidate Ben Samuels, all on the panel.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I have been suffering from CNN anorexia. Ever since they got rid of Stelter and Cuomo, I have nothing on my show. I have segments that are just empty. And thank you. Thank you, Don Lemon. Do you think he did this deliberately because his shows are tanking? He's all of his, no one watches it. Maybe people are going to watch him now because he says more idiotic.
There was a suggestion, I saw a headline somewhere that said, yes, that it's so bad over there in the morning that it has become must-watch TV because you can't believe what you're actually seeing. It's that bad, like a train wreck.
If you haven't heard the Don Lemon clip, get yesterday's show, the Annie Frey Show, because we talked about it a lot. And I think we came, of course, and I think we came to the same conclusion that Gutfeld ultimately did, which is this is just great.
More of this, please.
Please keep putting your foot in your mouth like this, because this one, it's funny with so many of these clips, you know, you hear something and you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that. We got to play that one. This one has circled all the way back around to being like, I can't believe he said that, but I'm really glad that he did because it's so bad that everybody's ragging on him. And apparently, like I said at the beginning of the show, as far as I know, he was not on the air today. Taking a little time off for some personal reflection.
I'm just going to hide.
He's
playing hooky today.
The company counselor that was assigned to him apparently after yesterday. So did anybody see the Gutfeld ad in the Super Bowl?
I saw it.
You
Yeah, I
did?
did, yeah.
You saw
It
it
was
live? Because I saw it afterwards.
I saw it, I think it was the second time it played.
Is there a segment of the population that is not aware of Greg Gutfeld that changes their mind?
I'm certain.
Really? You think?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I would think most people have an opinion about Fox News.
I don't know that people have tuned out of Stephen Colbert or whatever to tune into Gutfeld.
Yeah.
I think
They
Gutfeld,
might start.
I think people have just been tuning out of these other ones. But you're right, Hannah. I think now they'll watch it and they'll go, what is this all about? Because they had Tyrus in chainmail.
Yeah, and Kat Timpf, there's a couple different versions, so I wasn't sure which one actually aired.
So I saw the one with him in chainmail.
Yes, well, they all had that. But there was a couple versions, of course, that were online, that the one I thought was the one that aired, she didn't say a word. Greg Gutfeld did, and Tyrus did. And she just kind of goes, like she reacts and didn't say anything, which if you're Kat, I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, I finally made the Super Bowl, and I didn't have a line. You know? But I thought Tyrus actually had the one line in there that if I was unfamiliar with Gutfeld, which I guess you could, I said Fox News, but you could be unfamiliar with Gutfeld.
Right. I
And
think you can know Fox News and
Yeah.
not know Gutfeld.
And if you don't know Gutfeld, it might change how you view Fox News.
Absolutely.
That's very possible. If you're on the fence about it, or you're just not paying attention, you think,
Yeah.
oh, that seems like a funny show. He kind of had the line where the promo itself was funny because, as I said in last week's X's and O's, which we skipped this week because we didn't have the full crew, and we thought, let's just do it next week. But he's wearing a crown and he's on a throne, and it's the new king of late night was the theme, and so it's only 20 seconds, but by doing the math of an ad, a 30-second costing $7 million, that's roughly $4.5 million that they gave up. Not that they didn't have to pay for that because it was Fox, but they gave up $4.5 million theoretically to give Gutfeld 20 seconds of airtime in what is honestly the most eyeballs in the country every year. I mean, that's it. Other than the Super Bowl, you might say World Cup has more eyeballs worldwide, but nothing in America. And even the Super Bowl gets watched internationally too.
Oh, yeah.
Partially just because of the spectacle of it, and people are like, oh, this is like the big American thing, you know? But in that 20 seconds, there's two jokes. And they're both decent jokes, and I thought they did a pretty good job. Greg Gutfeld really didn't get one of them. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Because at the end, the joke is he's just about to talk. He's like, I'm the new king of late night. Oh, okay.
That's a wrap.
And then they go, yep, that's it. These ads cost too much. And then he's just left kind of looking sad.
Yeah.
So he didn't really get the line, but he had the final joke in a sense. But Tyrus is the one that got the line that I thought, actually, that might make me watch that. Do you want to sum it up?
So Tyrus is dressed like a knight.
Yes.
He's just all chainmail and armor and stuff like that. And he's sitting there, like, think of the knight from Indiana Jones with the chainmail headdress and everything. And he's sitting in the chair.
Apostle John?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
He's sitting there in the chair, and he goes, is this cultural appropriation?
Yeah. He's looking at the chainmail. Is this cultural appropriation? Done. I mean, you had to fit a lot into 20 seconds. And they actually did a pretty good job. It was high quality, too.
Oh, yeah.
Very well done.
I have to watch it.
Before we get to the top, one story. Do you have a dog?
I do not.
I know you do. You have a very
I love my dog.
pampered dog. How do you know if your dog... The headline is, I don't want to bury the lead here, you're petting your dog wrong. How do you know if your dog isn't happy with your displays of affection? Have you figured this out? Do you need to read an article to know this, Brad?
No, I got a pretty good handle on it.
It says, according to trainer and behaviorist Joy Knowles, it's worth being aware of the canine ladder of communication that was originally developed by Dr. Kendall Shepard back in 2001. The ladder starts at green. So this is
Enlighten me.
How much thought you have to put into this.
Ryan.
I didn't pet a dog. The ladder starts at green, which is where a dog will politely request you to stop touching them.
I don't like this at all.
These signs,
What's
maybe
red?
it could apply to people too. I don't know, but they're talking about dogs. These signs include behaviors such as yawning, blinking, nose licking, turning the head or body away, or walking off.
Stop petting me, and it walks away. That's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd figure that out.
That's the one my dog employs the most.
Okay.
Like, my dog likes being petted, likes being held, doesn't like little kids or puppies. He is annoyed by them. And so when they come up to him, because, little kids can pet a little rough sometimes. So he'll give them
pull on the tail.
He'll give them like one or two pets, and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go walk over here now."
What about blinking or yawning? Really?
My dog does that laying on his bed. He just lays there and yawns, and then sometimes he blinks at me.
If those signaling attempts prove unsuccessful, like you're aggressively petting the dog and it's trying to tell you, I don't want to be pet, a dog will escalate their requests to amber behaviors, such as putting their ears back, which I thought that was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this.
Oh, no.
Standing crouched with their tail tucked under, or stiffening their body and staring.
Yeah, for sure. Those are accurate.
So I'm glad to have shared that with you, because otherwise you're a dunce if you didn't know that.
All
Red
right.
is biting.
YouTube poll. From which show member would you most likely seek counsel from? Hannah, Ryan, Annie, or Brad? Brad wins with 44% of the poll.
Of course he does.
Annie 28, Ryan 15, myself 13.
Oh.
Don't seek advice from me.
All right. Well, we'll see you Monday. Annie will be back, and we'll see you then.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud